is I'm noticing that he's becoming a bubblier personality than I intended, and I'm just like, I'll go with it. I'm like, ooh, elves. I'm like, ooh, I'm Jez's best friend, but Jez doesn't give a shit about me. And I'm like, I need to heal the elf now. Elf doesn't care. Stay away.
So
Yeah.
previously on D&D,
Oh,
we had...
and I'm okay with that, by the way.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I was like, wait a minute, you want my response, I think.
Yeah, I figured like you'd let me know if there was like a glaring objection. It's hard when you like get a good idea about something. Players might not think it's as good an idea as I think it is. So
It was not the idea I was thinking, but it's not a bad idea.
so yes, we had an enemy beachhead style scenario with these Piscine invaders. Hold on one second. Sventis is whispering, or not whispering. Oh, okay. No worries. Killed fish people on the beach. Basically, we kill fish people wherever there are fish people.
Oh,
we saved the people that could be saved. Unfortunately, several couldn't be. We did battle with Undine and beat
Almost
her back
killed her.
into the seas. Almost killed her. And an errant lashing out of necromantic energy created a new friend.
Oops.
My son.
What was the name of him again?
Opie.
Opie, that's right.
So we'll pick up
that's-
sort of in the aftermath of the action there, unless anybody's got anything. Cool. Then
Nope.
you guys are on the beach, blood stained and sweat soaked. Sun's starting to sink low behind the clouds. The storm that was offshore is working its way inside. You can hear the soft rolling thunder, and a little bit of light drizzling rain begins to fall. Wounded and tired, do you want to head back towards what remains of Swinford to try to find some rest?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Please, can we have a long rest for God's sake? Let me reset.
Is there anything left on the corpses that are in the boat or on top?
Yeah, I
of
was gonna
wreckage?
say,
that
can we
might
see anything in the direction of the
that we
sea? I guess.
maybe take back identifying trinkets to the town or something.
We have two competing interests. Reed, why don't you make an investigation check to explore the ship ruins here and see if there's anything like identifying people, so that hopefully you can let families know. And Kig, why don't you give me a perception check to just kind of keep an eye on the beach?
Oh. Cool.
I'm gonna give you the 14 because the storm clouds are coming in, so you're not in direct sunlight anymore.
Woo!
So no disadvantage.
Wow, Zell's missing out.
Yeah, the one night, right? Kig, you scan the beach line. There's no obvious threats, no giant tsunami waves crashing down, no aqueous spheres making landfall. Also, just water leaves no trace. The only suggestion that they were ever here is Undine's trident in the sand. I don't remember actually who picked that up.
No, it was me.
And the collection of vitreous humor, for lack of a better word, that's in Feisty's water skin bag that still seems animated.
Cool. Alright.
Reed, you rummage through the remains of the ship. There are several deceased people. You can find clothing, jewelry. There are some, easily identifiable marks. The ship it doesn't look like it's from around these parts. It might have been from other areas of Pendilor. Could have been out on an extended fishing trip, could have been a long-term voyage. You don't know for sure, but it doesn't look local, so it's unlikely you're going to find family members here. But it's up to you as to what you want to do with their, jewelry and identifying paraphernalia.
You know what? I'm an opportunist. I'll take it with me.
I'm going to hold this for later.
Yes.
For plot reasons.
That's the like nicest way of saying I'm gonna pillage these people I've ever heard.
Damn right.
In your inventory, you can add unappraised shipwreck jewelry. And I think we'll make the trip back up the beach, up the hill to Swinford. The storm, by the time you guys make the foot journey, almost that quarter mile, the storm is now just over the city, soft rain falling everywhere. There are people openly mourning in the streets, clutching the dead and dying bodies of loved ones. There's a contingent of towns guard that are digging graves in the field outside. There's just a deep, overwhelming sense of sorrow and mourning. But as the assembled masses, in their grief, see you approach, they all stop to watch. Some cheer, some clap, others just nod. There are a few farmers who offer, their gnarled, extended hands, looking to shake yours. King, you especially feel more welcomed here than you have been in many human civilizations throughout your life.
I
Could it
shake
be
all
the
the hands
trident that I'm
that
holding.
are possible.
Yes, it's amazing what a shiny trident will do for you.
Yeah. I'm not very comfortable with this.
I'm also not very comfortable with this, but that's pretty standard.
But I'll take it on whim. Hold my trident up with pride.
There's very few structures that are like fully intact. Most of them are, half collapsed, dilapidated structures. You see people making camp, starting fires in the ruins. It's just an unfortunate scene. Do you guys just want to try to find room? Do you want to see if there's an inn still up? Do you want to just try to survival and make a camp in one of the ruins? Do you wanna help bury the dead?
How have Leo and I been like camping or like staying when we've been on the road? Because I assume that's what I'm just gonna go do because it's what I'm used to.
I imagined that if, as a traveling forge, he's probably got a camping tent, or maybe converts part of the wagon into a makeshift home for the evening.
Like a
Something like that.
transformer.
Jealous.
Yeah. It's like those RVs that have like you
God.
pull out the side of the awning and you pull up the posts. It's like that.
Nice. It's like, do you have to kick the forge out though, or are you just like
Yeah.
sleeping right up against it? Yeah.
You have to get the forge out. I'm assuming Kel usually sleeps inside, and I sleep out by the forge.
Yeah, that seems about right.
That seems fair. For those of you who don't have a dwarven carriage to sleep in or under, what accommodations do you seek?
I mean,
I do
Like
invite
a
everyone to
pit?
join us around a campfire at the carriage if anyone wants to join us.
Are we able to start a campfire in this misty, hazy weather?
It's possible. It will be a survival skill check.
I decide to assist with this idea and get to know my new companions better.
I tried rubbing two sticks together. It did not work.
I
May
will
camp with
attempt
you?
to make a campfire.
Okay.
I succeed.
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, no, you've got tons of forging tools. You've got the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise. Easily, you set up a makeshift camp, extending your awning as described. You get a nice warm fire going.
Nice.
As you guys are drying your clothes by the fire, warming your hearts, and sort of being lulled into that quiet, cozy nap time feeling. Muscles burning. It's just time to sleep. A small girl approaches your camp, and in her hand is one of those small paper lanterns from the festival that was rewarded earlier in the day. She's not speaking, but is holding the small little nubbin of a candle that sits inside of it towards your fire, like she's asking you to light it.
I graciously light it and hand
She
it back to her.
puts the small little nub of melted wax back inside of her paper lantern and walks to the town square and just lets it out of her small little outstretched hands. And you guys watch it just tenuously being tossed forth and back in the wind. The candle almost gets blown out, and then it just begins to rise straight up, almost as if the storm itself took pity on the poor people.
I think
As
I have a paper
Perhaps
lantern
we
kit.
should join her.
Well, that would be thoughtful.
I will use my paper lantern kit that I have to do the same.
Which makes my dog bark, apparently. In response to your kind gesture, several other citizens of Swinford seem to honor the tradition of the evening and start setting their paper lanterns up. It's much more somber this year. Instead of giving thanks for the bountiful harvest, they seem to be mourning lost loved ones. It takes on an entirely new meaning, but the purpose remains the same. More and more people join this group setting lanterns up into the air. You notice the local constable, Hadrian, steps forward just above the assembled masses, standing in front of your makeshift tent, and waits for a break in everyone's conversation, and he raises his hand to quiet everyone to speak. Tonight may seem dark, but even in this darkness, Argenta has shared her light. Gesturing towards all of you, he continues. Many died, but how many more would not be here tonight, if not for these brave few?
Ignore
Our
that.
festival has always been about counting blessings and giving thanks for our bounty. Join me now in thanks to these champions who stood for us when darkness came for our village. Raising his hand in an empty tankard to the sky, 3 cheers for our heroes! And in an assembled roar, the survivors of Swinford, huzzah! 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 After a few moments of cheering and people start leaving the square on their own, there's, nods, handshakes, adulation again. But mostly people are going to leave you alone because you look like you're rode hard and put away wet. Before slipping into sleep, is there anything anybody would like to do?
I approach the constable and advise him of the identifying marks we found on the ship. And
He offers to take custody of the artifacts and send them along to Fallcrest or one of the other larger cities in the area that might be able to get them to where they're supposed to be. He does not immediately recognize them and says that the ship that you're describing, isn't moored here. It's not of Swinford, but
I hand him the artifacts.
Take him anyways.
he says he'll do his best to get these to the families they belong to. Tells you that they don't have much to offer you, that even before the tragic tsunami, the village was not wealthy, but he asks if you would consider taking a reward for your saving of the village. As you're contemplating the offer, he can tell that it's difficult for you to mull over. He snaps his fingers twice, and a man walks up with a small tray of like the last 7 salvage danishes from the event before, the the honey pear tarts, and offers you those at the very least.
Ooh, I'll take one.
Happily
Graciously take one of those.
I take one without being noticed.
I'll take a second one.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'll
This was a most gracious offer.
I'll take one for me and one for. Does Opie
then I-
eat?
And then I break a piece and give it to Jezza, because Lord knows Jezza didn't say anything just now.
If you offer Opie food, you watch him just tentatively take it from you, put it in his mouth, and begin chewing, but you can watch his face sour. Normally children in honey is like a grand slam, but you just watch it. It seems repulsive and distasteful to him, and he just starts spitting out wet chunks as he chews. Not wanting to be rude, but clearly does not enjoy the taste at all.
Does Opie have a smell? Like a bad smell?
It's faint, but necrotic.
Okay.
Gross.
I'm gonna accept for the party the reward that the constable is offering us.
Yeah,
He's
we
got-
just did.
You want the coin he's got in his footlocker?
Wow, rude.
He says that what remains of the collection for the silent auction that was going to happen is 160 gold. He's talked to everyone present, and they'd be very comfortable with you guys taking it as a thanks for saving the people that you did.
Yeah, we'll split that evenly among the party, I think.
Hey, I got a question.
Go.
So, we're back in the same town, right?
Correct.
Did the Riddler guy die?
You don't see him among the living. Do you want to try to find him?
Not necessarily find him. I want to go to his place and see if all the money he stole from us is still there.
little riot looting.
A little bit.
Make an investigation check.
Because that's kind of my character. Very much just lived on the streets at one point. Investigation, yes?
Yes, please.
Fuck!
The small makeshift tent that he had set up in for Beriddled is just like sunken in the wet mud. You try like pulling pieces of it out, trying to get under it, but I mean it's almost like a sinkhole at this point where he once was. If he got out and took anything with him, he's not here anymore, and whatever was there has been reclaimed by the earth.
Damn. I wanted to get back at that old man.
R.I.P.
All right. Unless anybody has anything else, it's sleepy time?
Yeah.
Time.
Question mark.
Long rest.
Cool, I get to reset
So
literally
we'll
all these
add-
points.
20 gold points to our coffers. That sounds about right.
20?
Because there's 100. You said there's 160, right?
Yep, there are 8 players.
And divided
Cool.
by 8.
I guess unless you want to don't tell the people that aren't here.
No, I'll share it evenly. I feel like that's what Leo would do.
How much is that again for everyone?
20?
20
I think
each.
it's 20, unless I've been my math wrong.
Mhm.
How
No, you're
much
good.
is that?
I like Reed trying to feed the cocoon. Here you go, friend. Somewhere. I think this is your mouth hole. Oh God, I hope this isn't the out hole.
He wakes up with,
Okay.
Alright, that's gotta be something. He wakes up with a Danish in his butt.
It's your time to want to friends. We're off to very special.
At last, I'm free from my chrysalis. Is there a tart in my butt?
Is there a tart in my butt?
If it's honey pear, yeah, that was me. If not, I don't know anything about it. Oh man.
I just figured that, Reed would look at the cocoon and be like, you know what? I wonder if he's hungry and just shove a piece of food.
Yes. When in
Oh.
doubt, shove it in deep.
Good lord.
Hold up. Wait a minute. What?
I feel like it's
Sounds
not
like a fun
bad
night out for me.
Everybody recovers their full hit points. Reset your hit dice, reset spell slots, all the traditional long rest things. Everything that resets on a long rest or at the beginning of a new day is reset. Not being in a building kind of on the outskirts of the village, in Leo's makeshift wagon, I'd like all of you to make a perception check.
Yay.
Leo is superior. I think we're good to go there. Ooh. Those are very good perception rolls. Alexis and Leo, you guys wake. The storm has passed, and it's that super early hours of the morning where you can't really tell whether the sun is coming or going, and the ground and the air are very, very cold. But you wake to the sound of thunderous hoofbeats. You don't know whether it was the shaking of the ground that woke you first or the sound of the clipping clopping, but you definitely hear them coming.
I shoved
I'll-
Jezza off of me because Lord knows we probably Jezza's probably in our sleep, probably rolled on top of me, and I wipe the drool off of my arm and I figure out what's going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
You're her bedroll.
I mean, probably.
In a booming voice, I'll yell at everyone, wake up, wake up. There are people coming.
You all rise, some slower than others, to Leo's thunderous call, and you can watch as a column of soldiers on white horses, hundreds of white horses, begin to ride into Swinford.
Maybe the badger made it.
Oh, the badger totally made it.
Several people stop and ask if you've seen the town leader.
Um,
I pointed at a badger. I'm just kidding.
do we know where he stays? Like, is that like common
use
knowledge for
Discord?
us, or
Probably. Hang on one sec.
Is it common knowledge as to where we know where they're staying?
I lost my Discord. I'm sorry. Could you repeat whatever you said before I said?
oh,
did.
yeah, I was just wondering if they if we knew where like the constable lives.
You don't actually.
Okay. I guess I'll just tell them that we're traveling traders, and we don't really know where anyone is staying in this house, but I'll point to town and say there is a congregation of people over there. Maybe it's one of them knows where constable lives.
Kig blurts out, "I'm no traitor."
Enunciation's gonna be a problem.
I elbow King. I'm like, not now.
What?
Bad time.
Dude,
And
he's
says
swole
things
right
I'm
now.
not.
He's Kig the Trident, man.
Yeah. For
He doesn't
real.
even know if the trident's cursed or not.
Dude,
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
it's totally cursed.
It's 100% cursed.
it shrunk to my size. It's totally cursed.
That doesn't make it cursed.
The 3 men on horseback ride off in the direction that you pointed. Kind of like classic soldier behavior, cart before the horse. As they take off, spinning, like spooling out of the center of this column of troops, a just sort of weary, well-traveled, worldly man pulls his horse to the side, dismounts, removes his helmet, revealing a just very dark face, just covered in scars. One eye is almost completely whited over.
Do we know this guy from a one shot?
You do.
That's
Tucking
what
his
I thought.
helmet under his arm, he introduces himself as Captain Griffin Winters
Ah!
and says, "Those fools are looking for the constable, but I suspect it's you I want to talk to."
I kind
You
of
have
shirk away.
Not me.
I kind of shirk away from authority, so I just kind of just hide behind people.
I guess I'll walk up to him and look up. I'm assuming this man's taller than me since I'm pretty short, and I'll just kind of throw out my hand and be like, Leo Stronghammer, blacksmith by trade, town protector by obligation, or something.
Nice. I like that.
And be like, what can we help you with?
He says, some of you have the bearing of warriors. Tell me what happened here.
I'll just start ranting about how you're like Kel and I came into town. I'm gonna start farther back than we should have in this conversation. So basically, how we came to town from another village, and then basically, I'm just gonna rant through how the tsunami came, and then the different fights, and then
while you're taking too long, he just instinctively places his thumb on the hilt of his sword, just in a full intimidation, and he says, "Son, do you honestly think I give a shite about what you had for lunch? You know what I want to know."
And I'm just gonna be like, I'm getting to Undine, don't worry.
You now have his full attention. He's, I think, made his point clear, and he just wants to hear everything you have.
And then I'm just gonna continue on and rant about basically the whole attack and everything we went through. And then I'd be like, and that's how we ended up here at my cart.
That's quite a tale. Do you think you could describe the enemy in great detail?
Describe him. I could probably draw it for you.
Excellent. He does that very classic 2 fingers in the mouth, high-pitched whistle, and a valet approaches, and he calls to him, "Yes, all of them. Get these 8 men ready to travel. We ride for Pendilor." And just takes off, putting his helmet on, mounting the horse, and 2 people stay behind, asking what your needs are.
Trident polish.
Yeah.
Man.
Hello.
I
Yes.
ask him if they have a cart for my cart.
from my cart. I think I hear a Spenty's testing.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here now.
Yay!
Welcome, sire.
Yeah.
Did you hear how I woke you up?
Or
Yes.
madame.
And I would like to go back to sleep now.
I just pick you up and then just kind of drag you into the cart.
While you're each of them talking to these valet about your individual needs and your trident polishing, which I have to assume is sexual.
No.
Not from Kig.
They tell you that you'll get whatever you ask for and more, but time is of the essence. Griffin Winter is not a man who likes to be kept waiting. When you guys aren't like responding to this new paradigm shift, this this new reality, he comes in close to the huddled mass, kind of setting himself down inside your camp, warming his feet and hands by the fire, and he just looks around to make sure no one in the army can hear him and says, "You know you're the only ones, right?"
What do you mean by that?
He leans in and says, "Last night, dozens of villages burned, hundreds dead. Only this city remains standing. Last night we lost Broad Beach, Pebble Bay, Gracewind Shore, Mourns Bay, Cliffside, all fallen to these fishy people. Obviously the Queen wants to know how and why. Thank God you were here to stop them."
Fishy people.
Did you see a badger by any chance?
"A badger?"
Yeah,
We're, like,
he
not
was
even
a little.
concerned with what this man
It's a
just said.
giant badger.
He was kind of like a messenger. We sent him off, and he's a little rough around the edges. Do you know about what happened to the badger?
He does not.
The badger would have disappeared at sundown, or like
Drat.
at dawn.
I like the idea that this man just told us like half the country fall, and you're like, did you find a badger by chance?
Yeah, I like that too.
I don't care. I just want to know what happened to that badger that I was holistically interested in. That we sent off as a messenger badger.
Thousands dead, country invading. Yeah, cool. Have you seen my badger though? 'Cause
Have you seen my
kinda
badger?
I mean, it's not your badger.
I know it's not my badger, but I was absolutely infatuated with this weird badger.
Well, you'll also notice the smaller badger that I had has also disappeared, and you don't know where it
Aw.
went.
I don't think
like
I ever
this-
saw that. I don't think I ever saw that badger. To be fair.
You and
I like
So-
the idea of these wizened mages just in the middle of this argument talking the finer points of summoned creatures. Strictly speaking, he wasn't your badger.
but he was an ally badger, I think.
Well, he was the communal badger. If we have to agree on something.
The town badger.
The town badger. the group mascot outside of Leslie, badger.
Yeah, I've never been to prison, but I hear communal badger is the last thing you want to be.
Oh my god.
Reed pipes up. What you got, Reed?
The villages did not make it, but were there any survivors at all?
He says, "No, that's the scary part. Not one single man, woman, child, or beast left alive. Many just taken. Not even the bodies."
They could have been taken underwater like the ones we saw from the beach.
What's that?
When Undine retreated, she was in this bubble, and there were villagers inside that bubble, and they disappeared with her into the water.
Calls for a scribe who turns around and like unzips a backpack that becomes this writing easel, and he just forces the man knees down in the mud and just starts writing down. Go on, go on. What is an Undine?
Guys,
Big lady, lots of tentacles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Almost
Looks
dead.
like a Shara.
That will
That's perfect. That's canonical. It comes from this.
Everyone looks
Kind of
at
like a
King.
Shara. Who's a Shara? Who have you been meaning?
What would I have to roll to try to draw something really good for him?
I unsubbed after battle for Dazarlor.
Yeah.
Hold on. That hits a little close to home. Hold on a minute.
Would it be a performance?
Yeah, performance would be
All right.
great.
I'm gonna try to like I'm gonna ask him the man like give it here, I'll draw it for you, and then I'm gonna see how well this turns out.
Nice.
Not
Nice.
bad.
You draw a nearly photorealistic recreation of Undine wielding the trident and everything. You even throw in some of the other Piscine creatures for flavor, just really creating the scene. It kind of gets away from you. Like, he wants to take it back and start looking at it, and you keep having to push him. Wait your turn, wait your turn. The
I like to
shading's not
I'm
done.
not done yet.
I'd like to mention, I was rolling that as a joke, but I'm gonna play myself in. I'm like over his shoulder and be like, "No, you're doing that wrong. It's like this."
He just telling me, don't forget the thing. Don't
Don't
forget
forget the
rocks."
thing.
Guys, he's not even cross-hatching. Once you're done, he's very impressed with both your ability to recall such an obviously terrible and traumatic experience and to render it so beautifully.
I definitely signed the bottom a very giant signature.
Nice.
And it's kind of going
Looping
into
my
the
O's
drawing,
and-
into the drawing a little bit, just kind of
It
covering it up.
definitely goes into the drawing, yeah.
And he asks for clarification. You killed this Undine?
Almost.
Oh, well.
Somebody
yes, but
missed.
no.
Yeah, somebody missed.
Who
I
missed?
didn't hit Udine, but you see that other large one he drew there. Beat the crap out of that one.
And
We got-
The dwarf
wrapping
finished
up
him off.
notations on this page. And have you any knowledge as to what this creature is, or from whence she came?
I
The
think she's a
water.
fish lady.
I think it's water.
Yeah. Just kind of basically be like, oh, well, besides, seeing them out there, no.
Did you know that Did you know their weapons turn to water?
We do have an idea where they might be, though.
And you're gonna pull out your little thingamadude.
Yeah, my
hey,
bag
hey.
of magic water.
He takes a step back as soon as you point the water skin anywhere away from the beach, it just creates this sort of protruding tentacle of water as it tries to squeam away back towards the shoreline. It looks like you have, some kind of large snake or eel in a bag that's going bananas.
I wouldn't recommend drinking that.
It's gonna come out in a very awkward manner.
Organ juice.
And he asks, "What is that?"
Well, this is what their weapons are made out of.
Leather and water? I don't understand.
Just the water.
Did you not hear me earlier? I said their weapons turn into water.
They turned into water.
That too.
He leans in to smell your breath, almost like he's trying to detect the presence of alcohol.
Do I look like a drunkard?
I'm quite sober, thank you very much.
I apologize. You just seem it.
Leo definitely says,
Uh-huh.
I only had 12 yesterday. I'm fine.
He doesn't write it down until you, all 3 or 4 of you begrudgingly insist that they become water, that their weapons became water, and staring at him until he does, he eventually writes it down. Even though you can tell he doesn't believe you.
It melted out of my hands.
I
Have you
froze
ever known a
it
monk to
on
lie?
the ground.
And how did this force arrive? How did they depart? What kind of ship were they on?
They came out of the ocean.
Well,
They
if I
weren't
had a
on the-
guess, I'd say they rode a tidal wave.
Ooh, that's a good guess. Good job.
Yeah.
He does say that there have been reports along the countryside of a massive tidal surge, a tsunami wave that swept inland almost half a mile. You think the creatures manipulated this?
Probably, yeah.
I hear
That
park
sounds about
benches make it to where you don't die from them.
I've heard of stranger things.
There's much for us to discuss. Are you ready to travel now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has it been 8 hours yet?
We can
Has-
sleep on the way. We can sleep on the way, right?
Yeah,
You
where are we
need a-
going?
You need a second rest for your first rest? This is not like a second breakfast scenario.
I'm
Oh.
just messing with you.
Second
he said if you're-
breakfast.
If you're ready to travel, they have a very nice passenger wagon that will carry all of you to Pendilor, to Castle Ashburn, where you'll meet Queen Gwendolyn. She needs to hear your report in person, discuss these matters with you, probably even personally thank you.
Are we
Do you have
taking
any
our cart
food
with
for
us?
the journey?
We're definitely taking our cart.
I'm gonna stick with the cart.
I'm in the passenger cart.
Leslie's totally gonna take us to Pendilor.
Okay. The like whole valet team is like, oh, but it's so dirty, and she's a fine animal, but she's also caked in mud and smells quite foul.
I
I'm
don't
definitely in the passenger cart.
I don't tell you how to valet. You don't tell me how to adventure.
Fair enough. He puts his arms up in the air like you guys are just speaking different languages, and
Just gonna be
he's gonna
like,
ride
well,
one of the empty valet spots. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stare at Leslie like, well, it rained yesterday, so she got washed.
Well, she got washed in the flood too, I think.
A little bit.
A little bit. As they are getting ready to depart and the valets are loading the last stuff up on your cart for you, like 5 or 6 of them are struggling to get the forage up onto the cart for you. You're just kind of watching because that's a thing you do by yourself. And they all shy away from this large kind of chitinous cocoon that sits in the front of the cart that has since grown tendrils that are attaching itself to the cart proper.
Nice.
They seem really like they're shying away from it. The scribe asking one more question. What is that? Did that come from the sea?
Oh, that's just Petrichor. Don't mind
That's
him.
just a druid.
Just a druid, he writes down. Very well.
Go ahead, give him some food. Just shove it right in.
Yeah, we don't know where
Gosh,
it goes yet.
all I have are these 7 corn cobs.
Put them in one after another.
Jesus.
A little bit of Danish with a little bit of corn syrup on top of it.
I'm sure he'll absorb the nutrients. He's a druid.
That's generally how that works, I'm told.
Oh my god.
He likes plants.
He does like plants. See, he's a druid. Well done. Yeah. If there's any other stuff we want to take care of here in Swinford, let's do that now. Otherwise, we're gonna saddle up and ride for Castle Ashburn.
Before we leave, I personally seek out and thank the constable for his generosity with the reward, and then join the party to depart.
Yep. He tells you that if you're ever back in this area, know that you always have a friend and an ally here.
Thank you. As to you,
Swinford,
should I
never
return?
forget your deeds. The only thing that we had in my mind, in a metagame sense, left to do was we were going to try to see if we couldn't get Kig's newly acquired trident identified.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, is there anybody here that can identify?
Yeah, but what about in the army?
What
Or
do you
the
mean? I
military
identified
force?
it. It's a trident.
Let
Very
me
good
identify it for right now. It's shiny and sharp. Done.
I mean, I'm still looking for that polish. It's not
Are
that
there
sharp.
are there any like magical people within the military force that could help us identify it?
We have 2 magical people.
Well,
Two
No.
better.
Hold on.
magical
I got a question.
Whoa.
I got a question. Hey, try. That weapon that you or that spell that you were talking about earlier, the identify thing, magical item or whatever. Do you know what level spell that is?
One.
I think
It's a
identify is the
level
first
spell.
level. Yeah.
Okay, because I need to find a level 2 spell to not have double darkness.
Double dark.
I haven't figured that out yet.
Double dark.
I don't need darkness twice.
Why not?
Well, kind of redundant a little bit.
Well, if
I was wishing it was a level 2 spell, but if it's a level 1 spell, I'm kind of SOL. All right, let's go.
How about
if someone wants to lend me 20 gold, I could learn the identify spell.
I was going to suggest, since I went off to talk to the constable, how about I inquire with him? We picked up a magical item. Is there anyone in town that can identify this? Left alive.
Oh my. What is it?
Oh,
Magic.
some sort of trident. It changes size.
Chick. I like it. He says that there's a seer in the village named Luxara. He believes she might be able to tell you what it is.
Where is this here?
He says, "Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know that I've seen her since it happened. But well, he says we should try the town hall. That's where people were headed to evacuate to highest ground. It's a large area that sits on a mountaintop or a hillside."
I go back to Kig and let him know that, hey, we have a lead if you want to check this out before we go.
Meh.
I would like this thing to not potentially be cursed and you die, Kig.
There's also a member in the traveling caravan, a sage of the queens who could probably identify it as well. He is what you would call a mage right.
That'll
I
work.
think we should take him to him. What do you
Does he
think,
tell us
Kig?
to stay a while and listen?
Stay a while. I can't do it
Ambition.
nearly half as good as all right.
Off we
Speaking
go.
with the mage right, he needs just a few moments. He focuses on it. He asks if he can hold it, like noticing that you haven't removed your hand from it.
I'm hesitant, but I give it to him.
Yeah, give it to him.
Oh jeez.
Guy's gonna give it to you.
Give him your trident.
He rolls it over in his hands a few times, spins it twice.
Does it grow when he
As
grabs
he
it?
touches it, it expands, almost doubling
Awesome.
in size and weight.
Aw.
Amazing.
When it's done, he has a firm understanding of what it is. He hands it back to you. It shrinks back in size, perfectly balanced and weighted for your smaller frame. And he shows you this.
Hmm.
Oh my Lanta. Plus Dex. Ooh. Ooh.
Hmm.
Kig, do you remember what what Undyne said when she threw it at you?
No.
It was one. I don't remember who it was, but someone like tried to like.
Read.
It was
Fenties, I
Reed.
think, duplicated
Fenties,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
Someone-
I
someone
tried to
got
get
me
the
discovered.
starter working.
And you,
I
yeah,
tried to
you
make-
said the same exact thing.
Yeah, and she just kind of death glared me, and then I hid behind a rock.
Yep, that sounds about right.
It was one of the monks. I'm sorry.
All right. Is
Uh,
that all of our business in town? Are we ready to go?
Anyone want to contribute to the help Kel learn the identify spell?
Yeah, how much do you want?
I just need. I have 30 gold. It'll cost me 50 gold to do.
You got it.
So I just need 20 gold. I think
I
Dax
gave you 20
will-
gold.
Oh, well, give me 10 gold. Dax will give me
Okay.
10 gold too,
I'll give you 10 gold.
and I will spend the trip there learning how to that spell. If Try's okay with that.
Yeah. You'll just ride with the sage or the mage right that did the ritual, and you'll learn from him if that's cool with you.
Yep, that sounds
I give you 10 gold.
excellent. I'm gonna have no gold again. I have 1 gold.
Nice.
You
I
always want
didn't
to
buy
save 2 so you can
much,
put them together.
so
That's how you want to. That's how you want to travel. You want to travel with like little to no money, so someone's always paying for you.
Yeah.
But then you have
I'm
to
riding
owe
in
them
town
later.
on rented horses.
Then you have
You
to
just
owe
tell them you
later.
have no money.
Well, I mean, if you hang out with a pretty nice half dwarf, he'll just pay for you, and then we'll ask her to pay it back.
In the end, it's awkward sex stuff. It's always awkward sex stuff.
That's a good way to lose an important appendage with me.
You
Now
guys
you're just gonna get
ride.
darkness in your eyes if you do that to me.
Nice. You ride all night, and just before sunset, you guys are riding through the valley that leads into this massive castle. Maybe 1,200 feet above the valley floor, you can see Castle Ashburn from miles away. You ride through the winding road that takes you up there, through the small city that's sprung up around the castle itself, heading for the Great Hall. Most of the column of horses have peeled off and are headed towards a stable, probably to clean and feed the horses. 2 guards stay on as a retinue with Griffin, and they walk you, now disembarking from the carriages, to the large double doors outside of the Great Hall. There's a beautiful blonde woman with long flowing hair, just waiting. As you approach, she introduces herself as Liza, friend to the Queen, and says, "Before you may have an audience with my Queen, perhaps you would consider some alterations," she says, almost with a diplomatic smile, insinuating that you look and smell terrible.
I look at Opie. You sure it isn't him?
That's mean.
Hey.
He could use some alterations.
She offers you food and water. There's like a small cheese, dried meats, and bread platter, and several, just ornate decanters of spring water. She tells you that she's happy to order more if you're starving, but we have a few minutes before the Queen is ready, and has several handmaidens or basically around a portable wash basin stand by. There's also 2 people with just these giant trunks of clothing, and they're already picking garments out, trying to visualize your size.
I point at one of the handmaids. You there! Wash my back scoots.
You're what?
Back
suit. The little gnarled nubbins on the back of a reptile. Nice.
I guess Leo would be like, "Well, I missed my bath last week," and just start taking his shirt off and
You mean last
get ready
month?
to get cleaned.
Mm-hmm. They're all good-natured, letting those who want to bathe. Those who shy away from it, they're just kind of perfuming and offering to just spot clean garments.
Is there a private place to bathe?
They have the tidy racers.
Yes, they can erect a small makeshift tent for privacy.
I would like to bathe privately.
The 2 handmaidens that are bathing Leo and Kig in the fountain in the basin that's been erected there publicly, have you guys all sudsed up and are washing you down. As she scrubs your scoots with a small, horsehair brush, she notices that you haven't put down your trident at all, and she gently strokes its haft and says, "Oh my, it's so big."
Oh my god.
I know, I've been staring at it since I got it.
What does it do? She asks.
Oh my
Watch this!
I couldn't tell you.
They both are, they're young, attractive women. You are both, attractive men. They're maybe haven't
young,
been very
attractive
worldly. They
kobold.
haven't seen a lot of the world, and so they've heard stories in advance of your arrival. Is it true that you killed a bunch of the invaders? We heard horrible stories about them being vicious creatures with tentacles for faces.
I roll my eyes and then it's like, "Can I also have a private place to bathe, please?"
Yes, as soon as Kel is done, I don't imagine they'd have the makeshift materials to rig more than one private bathing area.
I'm gonna tell them that the true hero of the fights was the Manville.
Nice.
And then when they ask about it, I'm like, well, I'm gonna flex, but it's over there.
Nice. Oh my! Look at his manhammer. No, I'm sorry. What was it called?
The Manville.
It's really getting almost ridiculous. You're starting to wonder if they weren't like told to soften you up. It's starting to feel a little forced.
I'm also rolling my eyes.
I'm just ignoring them and enjoying the wash.
Yep. Dried meats, cheeses, breads, beautiful water. Although there's an absence of wine.
I wonder why.
Is that something we should whine about?
Ah. Yeah, then I guess you get your clothes watched at the same time, Reed. Yeah, if everybody is ready, clean, well fed, you are prepared to be ushered into the Great Hall, where you will have your audience with Queen Gwendolyn.
Ooh, delightful food.
Wonder who else will be there.
Oh no, Jezza doesn't wash well? Seriously, she already did it. You guys are walked through the double doors into this ornate throne room. It's just resplendent. Beautiful tapestries hang on all the walls. There's a sort of flowing velveteen carpet that leads to the high throne where Queen Gwendolyn has audience here. You guys are ushered in first. There's a bunch of advisors and attendants. You see and recognize Griffin Winters, who stands there with two other Kingsguard, and they all just sort of wait. You are given the option to take a seat while we wait. Eventually, a series of nobles come in from one of the side entrances, and after them, the valet of the queen. All rise for Queen Gwendolyn. And she just dismisses him, like, I've got no time for this, almost pushing him out of her way. And she takes her seat on the throne, looking at Griffin. These are them? These are the heroes? She looks at you, taking time to sort of examine each of you one at a time, sizing you up almost. Thank you for the kind service you've done to my citizens. I only wish you had been everywhere last night. Please, if it's not too terrible, can you tell me what happened?
Greetings,
Well, we
young
revived
queen.
a mage twice. Killed some faceless. That's about it.
I guess I'll just go through and kind of repeat what I did, except this time I'm saying it a little more nervously since it's to the queen. Whole time I'm like trying to like stroke my hair back to look good and kind of like
Nice.
sucking in my gut. And I guess I skipped the part about like the breakfast and just kind of start out for it, with the tidal wave, and then kind of give her in detail about just everything we did. But I still go into detail about a little more than I should have on things. Kind of like explain it, like, well, this one had about like it was kind of scalier more than the other ones, and this one had had a green eye and just kind of
She
like
never breaks eye contact with you, seemingly not even ever to blink. You can tell she's just carefully listening to every single word that you have to share with her. When you're done, she's got like that almost like childlike exuberance, learning something new. You can tell she's just bubbly and has 1,000 questions, but maintaining that queenly reserve. And do you believe they were the cause of this water surge, this tsunami that destroyed our coastline?
well, I don't. Maybe.
I don't think we know.
I don't really have any evidence to say one way or the other, but that would be my guess.
You said that they wielded magic. Do you know of which kind?
Water.
The the type that does stuff without using your hands.
She
I'm a
puts her
barbarian. Don't
hand-
ask me about magic.
She stands up, takes 3 steps down the pedestal to her throne, and gently puts her hand over the broad section of your bicep and says, "A powerful and brave warrior, no doubt, but is there one among you more well versed in the arcane arts?"
That would be me.
Gonna turn around and point to Kel.
I move up behind Alexis and I start pushing her forward, and it's like, this one knows all the things.
I put my hand in your face and push it back. No, I don't. No, I don't.
I guess I will take this then.
Okay.
Side note, I have a question real quick.
Yeah, go.
What is the outlook on necromancy in this kingdom?
Not very good. Not very good.
Not super favorable. Her father fought a long-time war against a necromancer over many years. That same necromancer killed her mother, and launched a 6-year war on the kingdom, decimating landscapes forever and murdering thousands of citizens.
Which is why I told Opie to stay in the cart.
I'm gonna. I guess when she asks about the arcane arts, then I'm gonna look at Kel and then point to Jezza.
Yeah, didn't they ban those?
That was
magic?
one of the things I was toying with in the other campaign option. That is not necessarily true here.
Okay.
It's just kind of frowned upon. Okay.
Yeah, it's like if, in Germany in 1952, we were like, hey, so got a really cool idea. Let's radicalize, form this militant party, and we're gonna just hate people for no. No, we've tried that. That didn't work out.
Okay. Yeah, then
so-
I'm gonna point to Jezza and be like, and just kind of give us sorry expression to Kel.
I kind of shrug and nod.
You can tell she was disappointed because she was ready to hear. She was prepared to accept you as an authority figure on the subject, but as your gaze turns away from her, she's waiting for someone to tell her what they know.
We're all just expectantly looking at Jezza.
Jezza, you mean me?
Yes.
Alexis.
Oh, Alexis, I'm sorry.
don't look at the goblin monk to explain magic.
Yes.
Your Majesty, this beautiful elf.
She takes one step closer.
She will
Now
help
she's
you.
completely off of the dais, and Griffin and the guards take one step closer. You can tell Griffin's always doing that math of exactly how many steps someone can be away from the queen, and he can still kill them in one deft stroke, so that he's always within that striking distance. It's unsettling to watch, but effective in being very intimidating.
Very uncomfortably. Very much unwilling to discuss what's going on here because I don't want to be, the center of attention. I kind of walk forward and be like, I guess I know maybe 1 or 2 things.
Please, there's no judgment here. Just share with me all that you know. I can only best serve my people if I understand.
I give a very rudimentary explanation because, I know a little bit too much occasionally based off of, my knowledge of books and stuff. And I'm very much like Leo in the fact that I'm going way into detail, but less of, mundane details. I'm going into technical details of how how their arcane machinery potentially. I'm like, I guess this is kind of how this would work, and this, that, and the other, and then just being like, and then there's this hypothetically the water would be able to do this and that. Just kind of just explaining it like that in
Yeah,
a very.
she stops you halfway through and says, I studied under the sage Erasmus, and my mother was a priestess, but truly you have a dizzying intellect. Please speak slowly.
I slow down.
Do you know of which school of magic they drew their power from? I'm aware of multiple schools: evocation, conjuration, necromancy.
I'm gonna pretend I know what it is, but as a player, I don't. But I think my character does.
Why don't you make a knowledge
arcana
arcana check
A knowledge arcana check.
to we'll
there's
find
a
out whether
button.
or not Alexis was actually paying close attention.
Sort of.
Yeah, I mean,
Back
In-
to
in-
sort of kind of making guesses.
yeah, you explain that to the best of your ability, that it was likely some kind of illusion. And as you're starting to explain like the different schools of magic and how it could be conjuration, like Kel covers their mouth and evocation, evocation.
I love the dichotomy between me and Kel. I'm just like, I don't want to do this, but you're gonna force me. And then Kel's just like, I'm not gonna say anything. I start saying something stupid, and you're just like, no.
They're not going to let you flounder, but yeah. So
The feeling when you fuck
your
up.
your best guess is that it was evocation magic. You're not necessarily familiar with the spells that were cast, and you share that with the queen. That it felt very much like conjuration of magic you're just not familiar with. I mean, as an artist that it can take many shapes. You yourself are not a traditional spellcaster. You walk a slightly different path. So while the core elements of their spellcasting were somewhat familiar to you, the exact tools that they were using, the spells that they were weaving, you have no intimate knowledge of them, other than that they were destructive and effective. And she asks again if you know how they came and went. I have my valet tell me that they came with the water, they rode the tide. I don't understand.
That is accurate.
Fish
I
people,
can-
man.
All I can think of is Nami from League of Legends and her "I ride with the tide." Whenever you just said that, I'm
I
sorry.
don't know what that means.
She's a fish person.
I'm glad you don't know what it means. It means you
It's
never
for
played
the
League of
best.
Legends. And that's
She's
a
a
good
fish
thing.
person, and that's one of her
That's a good
voice lines,
thing.
and that just went through my head, and I feel ashamed for thinking of it. Anyway,
Nice.
Surfs up.
There's a man in the gallery of nobles that the queen keeps making eye contact with between speaking with each of you, and you catch like a moment of less than queenliness as she literally rolls her eyes at him, making eye contact with the assembled group of heroes that you are. Says, there are some who would like confirmation that you are not in league with these invaders. It's terribly convenient in some people's opinions. She shoots daggers at that gallery of people again. That say we lost 5 of 6 attacked coastal villages and only 1 remains. What was so special about your village?
luck.
Pumpkin spice.
We aren't made of water.
Did you just say pumpkin spice?
Yeah, that's what we were all there for, right?
Yo,
That is
I was
true.
there. I was there
Well.
as a bodyguard. I did my job.
Luck of the
Protecting
draw,
the pumpkin
man.
spice.
Oh my
Protecting
lord.
Indeed.
Well, they almost killed Alexis.
Twice.
I did die. Technically.
Good times.
And she says, can you offer me any guarantee that you're not in league with these creatures, these tentacly fish people?
I
Nothing
hold
but
up my
barbecuing.
trident.
I'm
That's probably
afraid,
not the
friend,
best move in
that
this.
doesn't serve to distance you as much as you might hope.
Well,
I'm gonna
this
explain.
came from one of the big bads that we almost murdered. We pushed the fighting water back into the ocean.
I'm gonna explain how I grew up in the mountains, and that's the farthest away from the ocean you can get, and how
I show
it
an
just so
identity.
happens that I was there for the pumpkin spice.
So I'm guessing that this city has some kind of identification card. I just kind of pull mine out and just kind of tentatively show it.
Okay. You can tell she's very much inclined to believe you, but there are advisors who have obviously whispered in her ear that you guys could very well be part of this. She says that she believes you, and you can hear an audible sigh from the gallery. Somebody on the side just kind of goes,
Uh-huh.
Did
I
they
just,
see who did it?
I kind of want to yell out, "Them's fighting shrugs."
Well, do it.
Now I kind of hope we're on the other side.
Reed, make a perception check if you want to try to
Ooh,
figure out who it was.
I do. Where the hell's my card? There it is.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, your gaze darts so fast. Years of monk training have honed your reflexes. It's like almost like your glance beat the speed of sound to that gallery, and seeing your body twitch that quickly, like it's a bunch of people just scattered, socially distanced from the person who was making the sigh.
Nice.
You see this tall, sort of willowy man with short, almost platinum blonde hair and a thin, wispy mustache. He's in long, like blue dress robes, probably for the ceremony. You can see he's wearing boots underneath, and there's the small, misshapen swell of a long dagger or rapier at his hip.
Is that a dagger? It's your hip.
Are you just happy to see me?
He
Go get him,
make-
Reed.
he makes unbroken eye contact with you, and doesn't seem embarrassed or ashamed at his sigh, and just stares at you for as long as you stare at him.
I will continue to eye him down while listening to the exchange happening. I will hold his gaze.
Uh-huh.
There could be several.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, hold their gaze, huh?
I'm so pleased right now.
Feeling red.
That was just for you.
Having a good time, yeah.
The queen says, I have one last question for you. And she motions to the Captain Griffin and his guards, and they both just take off either sides of the room. Clear the chamber by order of the queen! And as you guys start to turn, not you, you stay, Griffin says, patting you on the shoulder as he walks past. Everyone else leave! When all's said and done, there are just her handmaiden Liza, 2 attendants at the back of the room, the 8 of you, Griffin, and the willowy blonde man from the side of the room, who remains standing where he was, just eye-banging Reed.
Oh, you like him short, do you?
She says, did you encounter any strange items?
I
Equipment
point-
that these creatures brought with them.
I point at the trident.
Yeah, I'm gonna point at the trident.
1 second. Go ahead, Sventies.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah.
Like everyone's kind of talking, and Jezza just kind of like kind of because of my height, I just kind of blend to everyone's like clothing, and then I kind of disappear around a pillar, and I'm just kind of wandering, looking at all the chandeliers and everything on the sides.
I
Do
would
you
like
want
to
to
thank.
stay
talking.
in the Great Hall, or do you want to leave the?
Yeah,
Great
in the
Hall?
Great Hall. In the Great Hall for now.
Sure.
I would like to mention that I know, like, I would probably be the only person who noticed you disappear and just roll my eyes and keep talking.
Fair enough. But she asks if you guys have encountered any items, equipment, technology of the enemy.
Who's he?
She
I
motions to
gesture to
him,
the blonde guy.
like, like that just petulant child thing, like where you were embarrassed by your mom, but you also need your mom, so you're like, yeah, this is Debbie. That's how she sort of motions him over and says, this is my master of spycraft, Willen Ashtoe.
Ashtoe.
Leo's gonna say that he has a very weird name.
Hello,
You got a
Spy
weird
Master
name there,
Ashton.
son.
I chuckled a little.
Said, yes, well, we all can't be blessed with Manville levels of creativity.
Oh, nice.
Short, pointing to the whatever.
Indeed, why don't you stick to hitting things?
I'll hit
Leave
you
you
upside
talking
the
to those
head.
with brains in their skulls. She introduces him as Willen Ashtow, the master of spycraft for Pendilor. He's the keeper of secrets. He knows the most of anyone in the kingdom. He produces a large metallic ring from underneath his cloak. It's about 9 or 10 inches in diameter, and the center of the ring is crossed by a tube, like an ampule, a cylindrical glass vial that has flowing water in it that looks like that aqueous substance that the creatures on the equipment turned into when they were killed. There's runic markings along the edge of this metal disc, frisbee-like structure, but there's also some scoring and a massive dent where a chunk of it is missing.
Do we all notice that? Did he show
Yes.
us intentionally?
Yes, he's presenting it to all of you. He says, "My little birds found it in the ruins of Morn's Bay. Do you know what this is?"
Not specifically, but we've seen it. I think.
Is it something
Liquid
we
inside.
actually have, or just the liquid is he referring to, or the container that it's in?
The whole thing is an artifact that they recovered from one of the villages that was destroyed, Morn's Bay.
But you said the liquid inside is the same as they.
Yes.
They were, yeah. Okay.
Close enough. Jezza and I don't remember who else was looking at the. Do you remember that ring of lightning that held the villagers prisoner?
That
Yeah.
was me.
Okay.
The one I smacked with my stick.
Yeah, Kel and Jezza, you both recognize this is the same kind of metal, and it's covered in the same kind of like runic symbols that were around that. Not letter for letter, for lack of a better term, but like very obviously of similar make.
Okay.
Kind of how all Volkswagens look kind of the same. Waiting,
Yeah.
he's like,
Oh yes, then I mentioned that is that thing, and then explain the thing that we encountered.
he says, "Fascinating. There's no evidence of lightning here, only water."
Yep. If I ask him if I can take a look at it.
He looks at the queen while like hugging it tightly. "No, you may not." And she like scornfully like narrows her gaze. "Of course you may." Presenting it to you with both open hands.
I take it and then I motion Alexis to come over here, and we're gonna go look at it. I guess would an Arcana check be something if I'm poking around at it?
Yeah, that would be very helpful.
God, I suck.
It's that gimp
Oh.
arm, man.
Yeah. You are Alexis. Immediately, you're not sure. You didn't see the first bit of equipment that they're referencing, so you don't have like that frame of reference to start from. But it does. You both agree that there's magic contained within this for certain. Like it's just radiating with arcane power. It doesn't immediately like feel or read familiar. You can't decipher the glyphs. But like the lightning cage, there's you get the impression these are like controls. That there's an activate, deactivate, 4 buttons or 4 sequences in total that could be pressed, and one of the buttons has been damaged. That's where that big chunk is missing. You put your 2 heads together thinking about it for 5 minutes, and it looks like it's got several buttons on it, but one of them has been damaged.
And the language is not one that we recognize.
That is correct. He says it could be of Aether technology.
Aether.
She says, "The mages of Aethervale, they wouldn't dare." And he goes on to tell her, "They do dabble in elemental magics. It's not inconceivable."
Why would sea creatures have it?
Well, from what you've told us, they arrived via conjured waves and disappeared just as quickly. Sounds like the work of a mage to me.
Getting a little too conspiracy theorist on us.
That's his job, though.
You don't like mages, do you?
He says, I don't like anything I don't immediately understand.
The waves weren't conjured.
That's cute.
He is waiting for, like, he's doing that, like, well, clearly they don't know anything, kind of like impatient hands in the air, pacing in front of the queen to show, like, well, here's your great heroes. They don't know any more than I do about this.
Would an identify spell be actually useful for this?
Potentially.
I'm gonna do that just to see if that helps.
Okay.
I'm looking kind of uncomfortable in the corner after the mention of Aether Mages.
Kel casts Identify on the thing. The item, the object, reacts to your incantation and begins to glow softly. All the runes are like a faint, almost light whitish blue. And the device is trembling almost imperceptibly in your hands, just vibrating ever so slightly. And you don't know what it is, and the Identify spell doesn't tell you for sure, but you are 100% sure that it is some device used for summoning. It has all the hallmarks of a rune of summoning or a teleportation circle. It feels very much in that vein.
I'd also like to add that I was very grumpy when I did this and definitely rolled my eyes at Ashtoe. Interesting. I share that piece of data with. Oh, for fuck's sake! It costs 100 gold to cast that spell. Are we gonna overlook that for a second, or do we want to roll that back slightly?
Because it didn't actually identify, I would say that it didn't consume a pearl, even if you had one, because you're not. I'm not going to let you actually identify it so much as just give you story hints.
Okay. Then I'm gonna share that with Ashtoe and the rest of the party.
It's less identify and more determine.
Yes.
Oh, looks like he knows more than you after all.
Few can claim that.
Someone just did.
He made a good guess.
Maybe we should.
What does it summon then?
I would have to guess that it summons whatever we have had to deal with lately.
Ooh.
Staring at Reed again, he just says, guess.
Does your water skin react to it?
It's a great question. Let's see if it does.
It does not. As you produce the water skin from your pouch or pocket, wherever you're keeping it, again, it just creates that tentacle of water that always points exactly towards the ocean. Going slightly inert the farther away you get, and the more directionally, straight ahead you get towards that coastline, it just starts to peg.
Oh well, a better guess than you could offer, Ashtoe.
You hear a faint yell from a.
Willen reaches out for it, wanting his device returned to him.
I hand it back.
Can I say something?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Oh. Hey, I figured that was what happened. It's like normally Try doesn't talk over people. You hear a small kind of yell from across the hall. I'm at the back end of the hall now, by the way, behind the throne.
Sure.
In that picture, I'm all the way back there. I'm like, try touching it with the trident.
Yeah, we could try touching it, but I'm not gonna use its. I'm not gonna send a lightning bolt at it unless someone wants to play practice dummy.
I mean, you could just put it in the middle of the hall, and then no one has to be the practice dummy.
That seems less fun.
Yeah, that does seem less fun. Someone has to hold it up.
What if we made Ashto do it?
Yes.
I mean, I like that idea.
Only a man with his smarts could be able to do it.
Wait, you have to convince him, right? Butter him up.
Well,
One second,
I'm down to give it a try. Though don't expect another use until the next dawn.
I meant just kind of like, tap it, like just kind of poke it with the tip.
Just the tip, just to see how it feels.
Yeah, just like touch it.
I figured we were like an all or none type of group, so like either we go like full send or we don't do it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't just touch it. Bring it like Happy Gilmore it right into the throne.
I'm curious to see
Just
what
lightning
happens.
bolt it,
I say
you know?
do it.
Yeah, I mean,
Do
I'd
you
be interested to see what
touching
happens.
the tip of your trident to this device once it's been laid on the Great Hall floor?
Well, which one? It's got 3 tips.
Ooh, that's true. I mean, it's up to you,
Well,
dealer's
The
choice.
left one.
You got to try all of them just to be sure.
The right
I want-
one.
What's the right one?
The not left or center one.
Damn you.
Uh,
But yeah, I'll try it.
okay. Kig, you kind of being put on the spot, but still riding high on that false bravado from the scoot scrubbing. Just triumphantly march towards the thing and tap it. There's this almost like fork on crystal bing that echoes in the hall for a second, and all 4 runes, the 3 that are intact and the one that is damaged, glow brilliantly blue, filling the whole area with this kind of soft illumination. And the water in the glass ampule in the center begins to churn violently, and the sigils begin to take, like the one on the farthest left deluminates, then the one in the northern position deluminates, then the one in the western position deluminates, and then lastly the damaged one on the south deluminates, and the circle, the disc that holds it all together, suddenly rapidly expands to almost 10 feet in diameter, and the liquid in the ampule spills out into the void and creates this just millimeter thin pool of water that outstretches, that begins to rapidly ripple, and then it surges with a flash of blue energy, and shapeless aqueous creatures begin to emerge from it.
Put it back.
Uh-oh.
Undo.
We should not have done that.
No, we totally should have done that.
Oh yeah, we should have.
I totally said we shouldn't, right?
I agree.
Go ahead and roll initiative for me, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, consider it done.
20. Oh yeah.
Remember to have your character selected before you click. Nice. Kig, you react first. There are 4 smaller beings that sort of coalesce into roughly humanoid shapes, tendrils of this water-like substance. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit more viscous than water, but creates flowing hair, and its body becomes bipedal, developing legs and arms that end in these blunt sort of club, almost like clenched fists, and they just slowly spin around the center, where a much larger mass of this aqueous fluid begins to congeal and form into a 16 or 17 foot tall creature that begins to create chitinous armor all around his body. What would you like to do?
Does anyone remember the word that the Undyne said? Undyne, or
Jezza knows it.
I want to throw it.
I mean, yeah, I could try saying those, but I'm currently behind the throne pilfering.
You're pilfering?
I've been, like, looking at shiny candle holders and trying to attempt to take a few of them.
Yeah, where are you? I didn't even see you on them.
He's back over
You
here.
gotta move the turn order.
Oh my gosh. I want to throw it. I want to throw it immediately. It should pierce through all of them if I knew the word.
As you prepare the trident to launch, you cock it back in your arm, and as you flex your muscles to extend, you can feel the energy surge. You can feel the steel of the trident fade away, turning into this crackling static burn in your fingers, and you need a word, a power word, a word of command, and like the trident itself that has shaped it to be perfectly matched to you, you get the impression that the word will be whatever you need it to be.
Shazam!
Shazam?
I was hoping to be like King Sword.
All right.
No. King Trident.
King Trident chucks the trident, and as it leaves his fingers, he screams, Shazam! And it discorporates into arcing bolts of electricity. So I think you can hit 3. You can hit the big guy, and then any 2, like if you hit the one that I'm marking as red, because it has to be in a line.
Yeah, it's got to be in a line, and it's 5 feet wide. And I have 120 feet range.
So I think you can only get 2 then, because they're staggered.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that.
You hit.
Now, I definitely want to get the big guy in the middle.
You could move first and then throw it.
Of course. That's right.
Don't you have to target
Here, let me see.
specifically, and it's the lightning between you and the target?
Mm-hmm.
So you're only gonna hit.
Well, unless I jump over here
So like
and get these 3.
Yeah, say my best case is the big guy and 2 little ones. I can't see a way to get more than that.
Yeah, there's no way. It's only 5 feet, so it's only 1 square, so it would have to be this directional. But I don't want to get right in front of this guy.
Oh, why not?
I've got 120 feet of range. There's no reason for it.
Do a trick shot.
Trick shot.
The master of trick shots is telling you to do a trick shot.
I'll use my, I guess my dodge to move. Would this be fine? Is that more than 30? No, 25.
You
And
can
then
be
I'll-
right where you.
Yeah, and then I want to move to right here with my feet.
Cool.
And then
Well,
yeah,
make sure
Shazam, bolt of lightning, 5 feet wide, 120 feet at this one, the green specifically.
Okay.
And each creature in line, excluding me, must make a DC of 13 for Dex. Taking 46 on a failed save.
Oh shit.
Do you want to roll
46.
damage, or should I?
You
4
can
dice,
roll
6.
damage. You can roll damage. You're probably quicker than I am.
So it sort of misses the first one. I don't think they take any damage on a fail. Is that correct, or do they take half damage on a fail?
On a hit, the target takes damage. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Half as much damage on a successful one. No, it does.
Okay. Purple takes 7. The giant creature at the center takes the full brunt of it, 14, and the one in the back also takes 14. It arcs and is having a hard time keeping its form composed. It keeps like drooping down, becoming a puddle, and then trying to reform into this, vaguely humanoid shape. The first one, purple, dodged slightly, and some of its body, some of its form sort of evaporated in the lightning strike, but it seems otherwise undeterred.
I think it's weak to lightning, guys.
It is Jez's turn.
Okay, so let's see. Play this up there. So I'm kind of over here. I'm moving back to the party, trying to be quiet, and then I see a bunch of monsters. I make a crackle as I drop these like gold candle holders that I was trying to pilfer.
Ting, ting.
I probably catch the eye of the guards and the princesses, and it's like, don't look at me. I was bored.
Taking these to get polished.
Yeah. And I kind of say out loud, why are there more water monsters? And I kind of look at Alexis. Like,
Don't
what
look at
did you
me.
do?
I didn't do anything this time.
This time,
Yeah.
I swear.
So that was 20. Alright, so I'll use Step of the Wind. And set that for a key point. So there's my normal move there. Yeah. So I'll branch my quarterstaff, move into this to Red's range. I'll attempt to whack him with my quarterstaff.
Okay. That is a hit.
Nice.
You smash into it like hard. This kind of bone-breaking force you're accustomed to delivering. Your staff passes through its kind of amorphous body with very little resistance, splashing some water on the floor as you go, but the void left by your staff immediately refills with this glub glub glub. The creature seems virtually unaffected by your attack.
Kind of like squaring myself up against like water.
Yeah,
Water.
We need some fire.
I turn around. Don't fire. Not fire. Not while I'm here.
You guys, does anyone have any ice spells?
But that's it. That's it.
Kel,
I do.
Noticing the lightning's effect, I'm going to cast my witch bolt onto the big guy in the center.
that's a hit.
How did... What is that? Ah, yes.
And that's the one that you can just keep tethering, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
As long as I concentrate.
You arc your witch bolt just over Jez's head. If she were any taller, it might have been a little friendly fire incident. It zaps into the weird myrmidon-like creature, coiling around itself. You can hear the sizzle as water is just like flash evaporating off of its body, scarring some of the like coral-like chitinous carapace that it's wearing as armor, and it conjures a chitinous trident. It takes aim and seems to be pointing at you. You have been marked. Do you want to move, Kel?
Yes. Yeah, that works. I'm good.
That's wonderful. What's the queen like?
Reed, you watch as Kel lightning lassos this thing, burning it, and then keeping his focus, or keeping their focus, they withdraw back behind the King's Guard, who sort of make a path because they don't want to get electrocuted. Just making a comfortable little home for themselves right in this little retinue of bodyguards.
Watching everything that's happened with the fight so far.
Mm-hmm.
I move up next to the brazier here, and I'm gonna fire a Sunsoul bolt, radiant Sunsoul bolt, at this guy.
Okay.
So as usual, aim my palms, my hand starts to glow, and Sunsoul.
That's a hit.
Boom. And I will spend a key point to do 2 more.
Hit. That's a good one.
Did both hit or just one?
Oh, just one. Sorry. I saw it as 7 damage, not a 7 to attack on the third one. Sorry. Yep. So 2 hits and a miss. That's not so bad.
Noticing I did some damage, I'm going to stay where I am.
Yeah, the impact like physical strikes, knocking little small like buckets worth of water out of his form, splashing on the ground. Having kind of the similar impact that Jez's staff does, like you're not convinced that you're hurting him in a meaningful way. But if those little splashes of water are his blood, then it's bleeding, and if it bleeds, you can kill it.
I am satisfied with that observation.
Leo?
Alexis, you can freeze things, right?
I do have freezing spells, yes.
Can you freeze this minion, one of the minions, like this guy?
I could try.
Can I take my action? Can I ready an action for after she does that?
Sure. The way 5th edition handles readying an action, you tell me what action you would like to take and the conditions under which that action would, like you set up the cause for your
Okay.
effect. And
Then I
if
guess
that happens, you do it. If it doesn't happen, you don't. And you can't, ready a movement. You'd have to move to where
Okay.
you want to be.
Then I'll move here. And if she freezes this thing, I'm going to attack it with the manville.
Okay.
Also, I guess I'll go ahead and rage this turn as well.
Nice. Alexis. I cast Fireball.
Hold on. I'm gonna cast Frostbite on that guy. On this one specifically. See if that does anything like freezy like.
On saving throw, okay. I do not.
It takes 1d6 cold damage. It has a disadvantage on the next weapon attack it attacks, and if you want to do anything spicy, you could try to freeze it, I guess.
Your frostbite attack touches it. It only hits it in the upper right shoulder, but the ice very rapidly expands over its whole body, covering it in this sheen of frost. It tries to break through parts of it, but very quickly just becomes a frozen statue. You can see roiling, flowing liquid beneath it, and the ice is quickly melting, but for the time being it seems to be fully encased in ice.
Smash it.
And I smash it with a hammer.
Does that mean I get to do my action?
Yeah, the
Awesome.
the red one is frozen and you have it
Yep.
prepared it.
Going to manville it.
22 hits. Nice. You shatter it into 100 pieces. Water goes everywhere. Shrapnel goes everywhere. Everywhere that it touches, it just splashes, and the droplets remain inert for now.
Heck yeah.
And now it's my turn. Kig, 2 of these small water elementally creatures move towards you and attempt to just punch you with their little liquid fists. Wow,
Good.
goodness gracious.
And they smack me for both.
They sure do, for a total of 5 points of bludgeoning. Jezza, the other lesser elemental, will attempt the same attack on you, which you easily dodge, parrying it harmlessly to the side. Smiling at Kig, he needs to practice more.
They're at my height level.
Get on my level, bro.
They're at Jess's height level too.
Shit, you're right.
Yeah, it's like my height too.
But she's a monk.
Unknown read, but a very good question. The Myrmidon moves there and will make 3 trident attack. 2 on Leo, 1 on Jezza. We'll start with 2 attacks on Leo. Oh, I get advantage, don't I? Because of your reckless.
Yes.
So we'll count that as the first attack. So a hit, and then 2 hits. It's just sitting on the floor here.
Trident.
That's what I assumed. I don't know if I made that observation or if Reed would have made that observation, but throwing that out there either way.
Leo, you take 11 and 12 points of piercing, which becomes 5 and 6 points of piercing for a total of 11 piercing damage. But each strike from the trident fills your body with water that instantly begins to freeze the wounds. You take 5 points each from each attack of cold damage, which I don't believe you have. So 10 more on top of that, total of 21 this turn.
Okay.
Jeez.
Kig, you're up.
I don't have anything elemental. And these
You have a
things
trident
don't
that
take
does
physical
electricity.
damage.
Don't you worship
Only
the storm
once.
god?
Only once.
That's Zaz.
Yeah,
it is
that's
Zaz.
that.
Okay.
They don't all do the same thing.
Wrong Cobalt.
God.
Wrong Cobalt.
Racist. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so that lightning attack only works once a day, Lav. So that's the only elemental attack that I have. And I mean, and I don't have anything blunt. Do these things have a? Will they attack me if I try to walk away? What if I try and dash?
I think we just find out. That seems reasonable.
Cool. Can I try and dash away?
Are you going to use your rogue's disengage bonus action?
Yes. Yeah,
Cool.
I am.
That's smart.
What are these like? What are these braziers like? Can I just hop over it, or do I have to like hit it?
The braziers are large for you. They'd be 4 feet tall, so just over your head height. But you're very agile. You could jump over them if you wanted.
Because I don't want to go near anyone. I'm kind of useless, so I'm just gonna dodge this way.
You're kind of useless, huh?
You can singe them to death with your fire, or something.
What fire spell? 1?
Turn it to a level 2 spell. I don't know.
I ain't got no fire, Corbin.
Why not knock over the brazier onto one of them?
I think you try. I was gonna make. That
I don't
joke.
think that's gonna be enough power.
You
think
haven't done it till you tried.
I've already dashed.
I've already dashed.
I've already dashed. Guys, I'm done. I've used my bonus action. I am pooped.
And I just want to see, like, I know that these things don't take any physical damage, but I want to try and attacking the big guy with my bow to just see if he can take physical.
Sure. We're going to pass to Jed's turn. To answer your question, Sventis, a reaction is something that happens during someone else's turn, usually in response to you being hit.
Okay, but it doesn't require me to like ready an action or anything.
No, sir. You can only make one reaction, but it's like a secret extra action that people can take a turn, but it usually is ability dependent, and that ability might have a cooldown of, short rest for long rest. And even if it doesn't, you can only take one reaction per turn. And usually, like I said, in response to being hit or something.
You can't counter.
So red is frozen solid or shattered to pieces?
Shattered.
Okay. I'm going to make a quick hop over the shattered pieces over to here. I'm going to smack the big guy with my quarterstaff.
Hit. Oh no, excuse me. You strike right in the bulk of his chitinous armor, and no love. It just kind of vibrates your staff and cracks a little bit into his chest plate, but no visible damage to the aquatic body beneath it.
Wow.
This isn't one of those things that they added in 5e where the lower your attack roll, the better it is to hit, is it?
Say this again?
So there's like an amorphous slime monster that the lower your attack roll, the better it is to hit it because you hit it slower. So it hits better?
No.
Okay.
A slow knife penetrates the shield?
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to use Nimble Escape
Yeah.
to move myself out of. I'm going to use Nimble Escape to move out of his range with Disengage to not provoke an attack of opportunity.
Perfect.
And I will. That's one more space. Yeah. All right. I'm done.
All right, Kel, you're up.
I'm going to use my attack action to continue striking it with lightning.
Roll damage. Nice. That's a big chunk. Pouring on the power, feeling comfortable behind your wall of soldiers, you just reach out with the second hand, adding additional arcane effort into the spell, the beam thickens and brightens, and you can watch it just burn through some of its armor, singeing at the head. There's now torrents of steam rising above the body, and you swear you can see him visibly shrink in size, almost like the mass of his body is evaporating and he's having to redistribute to stay solid. He looks very visibly injured by your attack. Do you want to move, or are you happy? I imagine you're pretty comfortable.
Oh, I'm very comfortable where I am. I don't need to move.
Reed, you're up.
I'm.
Reed, you need to move closer.
I'm actually going to move back here near the device, and I'm going to do my Sun Soul Strike again against this big guy here, and at the same time,
I'm going to have an attack of opportunity against me.
Briefly
attack the thing now.
Yell to Leo, attack the device.
I'd love to, but I'm going to get attacked when I run away.
You'll be fine.
That's going to be a miss.
I will or I won't. Yep.
Spending a key point. What was that?
Is that you guessed correctly?
Oh.
You got a good intuitive sense for hits and misses.
I'm going to do spend a key point and try again. One of those is hits.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, roll damage on the 20. 7's not bad. You hit his midsection. You can watch a small bucket's worth of water pop out the back of his body. Even if you got to do it in small little increments, you'll get him.
I'm gonna run out of key points before that happens.
I think you have movement left if you want to move any more. Otherwise, I'm gonna pass to Leo
I'm gonna just take one step back.
for safety.
Yes, for safety reasons.
Leo, it's your turn.
I'm going to move here.
Okay.
Pretty sure that doesn't that do an attack of opportunity because I moved out of range.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my trident. Does a 16 hit you? Yeah, I think it does.
It does.
Don't die.
10 points of piercing plus 5 cold. You turn that into 10 total.
Okay. I'm pretty hurt.
Ouchie.
We don't have a healer.
I can heal him on my next turn.
We sort of have a healer.
All right, cool. I'm
Go
gonna
ahead, Leo.
attack the device.
I attack the darkness.
I'm just gonna the same way the hammer challenge, in the village,
Ring that
where you
bell,
just
yeah.
ring the bell. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna bring the hammer down on top of it.
Okay. It's so large. Just go ahead and roll damage for me.
Okay. I think it's this one. Whoops. Here we go.
You smash into the outer ring of the device, which is, remember, expanded to much larger than this, so it's probably more or something like this. You smash into it, cracking a big portion of the outer shell of the device, and you can see it's caused the vibration inside of it to sort of like go akimbo, and now it's rotating like a saucer on edge. It's spinning violently, sort of like throwing a brick into a dryer.
Nice. That's a good description.
Damaged but not destroyed. Alexis?
Okay, not to be outdone by Kel. I'm like, hey, you know that lightning spell? I know that too. And then I cast Witch Bolt on the big guy.
2 witch bolts, huh?
That hits.
Double the witch bolt, double the fun. But witch bolt hits first.
Oh my lord.
I'm gonna use a.
I didn't realize Trollin was in our D&D group.
I'm also gonna use a sorcery point to use a quicken spell, and then I'm gonna freeze this guy.
Cool.
With frostbite.
And Frostbite's a cantrip?
Yes.
Cool. Just checking.
Yeah.
Thank gosh.
I'm not going to try to cheese it.
Oh, yeah. 4 points of cold damage, and like before, the outer skin of his body becomes like this. He's like an otter pup. You can still see the living elemental beneath, but he's trapped in a prison of his own body for the short term.
And I move next to Kel.
Nice.
So now we're two channeling witch bolts at the big guy.
Moving together, you cast your own witch bolt, adding it to their power, and as you join up, literally the beam has become one manifest, crackling purple and green tendril of lightning swirling around this creature. Ghostbusters, you have crossed the streams.
Hell yeah!
Thank you. I was thinking the exact thing.
I think we all were. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Remember when I said don't cross the streams? Cross the streams!
Cross the streams! Cross the streams!
Well done, guys. Ooh, what is this little goblin all by herself?
Oh no.
Hello, friend.
Oh no.
Don't say it like that. That disturbs me.
Only one hit, right? You're 17?
Yeah, 17.
4 points of bludgeoning damage as it punches you.
Ow.
And then Leo, you're gonna get punched 3 times by the Myrmidon.
All right.
Man.
Everything's fine.
Consistency. That's 3 26s out of 3 rolls.
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Shit. No.
So the 11 becomes 5, the 6 becomes 3, the 9 becomes 4, so that's 7 plus 5 is
9.
12 damage, right?
Yeah.
12 damage from just the piercing, and then 15 cold, which unfortunately you don't mitigate.
I will be going to 0. Actually,
Yep.
below 0, I believe.
No, you just go to 0. There is no below
Okay.
0.
Leo has been knocked out.
KO!
Well, we can't have that.
Kig Sword.
Oh gosh. Alright, I'm gonna move right next to Leo. Try and hold the bulwark or whatever he was holding up. And I'm gonna shove my sword into the chest of this man who's been lassoed by 2 electric
Yeah.
rope.
Don't get shocked, I guess.
Do you not want to
Wait,
hit the
I'm
frozen guy?
hoping.
Do you not want to hit the frozen guy?
Hold on. Hold
Nah,
on.
I'm good.
Is Kig the Trident using a sword?
Yeah, well, I don't want to put my sword in his chest. I'm hoping I can stick my sword in his chest and it gains some, like, I don't know, affinity with the lightning. Alright.
Well, the short sword
Anyone gonna
attack
tell?
misses.
Yeah.
Anyone
Isn't
gonna
there
tell him that's not
obvious?
how magic works?
It's conductive. Oh, he gets it now. All right. So unfortunately, your attack misses. He's able to just kind of put a large gauntleted hand in the way to block your entire blow with the back of his hand. Still much, much bigger than you. Do you want to withdraw, or are you going to just hold the line?
Yeah, I'm good to hold the line.
Jezza.
Okay. I don't know how to approach this.
Green's frozen.
But yellow and purple are not.
Yeah, I can move there. It's just there is. Yeah, no, I could just use that whenever, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll use Nimble Escape to prevent an attack of opportunity for Jezza from purple and yellow. I'm
I
gonna
would say-
move.
Probably
Over.
just want to move above it so you don't be near the big guy, maybe?
Nah, be near the big guy.
That's up to
He
you.
has a long reach. I don't think there's anywhere I can stand next to Green that he can't reach me.
Yeah, that's smart. Well,
Do you have an extra action though? Extra attack? Because you
It's a
get to
bonus
attack the ice guy and then also attack the device
Yeah, you can like use a key.
if you wanted to move.
Well, I had to use my bonus action
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
to get
Sorry.
out, so I only have one. But I can actually move one more space.
Are we sure we want to destroy the device, or do we just want to kill the monster? I mean, I know he put a big hole into it already.
I'm just gonna quarterstaff green.
Okay.
I'm assuming that hits,
That
especially
hits
because he's
for you.
frozen.
Yes, sir. As Leo had success, so too do you find success, turning him into a tray of ice cubes that scatter all across the floor. The severed head of which stays as one giant chunk of ice and skitters across, heading right towards the two casters and Queen Gwendolyn. And Griffin jumps in front of it and just crushes it to pieces under one gauntleted boot, or one plated boot, and just kind of smiles at you in an approving way. And says, "Ha ha! I knew it! The bearing of a warrior!"
I look up at him. You tried to arrest me 3 years ago.
I guess
Kel.
it didn't take.
Did
Gonna roll damage again.
Nice.
That is very effective. You continue to singe away at him. Just torrents of steam are now filling the room. It's getting hard to see for the melee fighters. You're burning away a considerable amount of his mass. Now he's only just a few feet taller than a normal man. Ugh.
That's all for me.
Reed Green Bottle.
Ignoring cries for everyone else, my first instinct is to help Leo.
Yes.
Okay.
You take 6 HP of health back plus maximum number of your hit die.
You restore 10 HP.
So yes, you get 10 health back. Do what you will with that. I cannot spend a key point unless I attack first, so that's all I can do right now.
Excrement. Leo, you stand up at 10 hit points with renewed vim and vigor, thanks to one of Reed's healing elixirs. Did I lose Discord, or did you guys lose Discord?
I think we
No,
just
we're
lost
here.
Fubarius.
Yeah, I think we might have lost Foob.
Speak of the devil.
There we
Oh,
go,
I
he's
just
back.
accidentally turned my PC off.
Back again.
Whoop.
Yeah,
Whoopsie.
I'm not used to where my PC is right now, so I just put my leg up there and just hit the power button. That was my bad.
Love it.
I'm back.
Love it,
boy.
buddy.
You were at death's doorstep. Reed healed you back to 10. I added those 10 hit points
Oh,
for
okay,
you.
thank
It's
you
your
very
turn
much.
now. You stand back up.
I'm gonna, I guess, turn around and whack the machine.
Okay.
And I don't need to roll for hit, but I don't actually know how to do the damage. So I'm just gonna do. The
Yeah, you
thing
can roll it
again.
manually, but just go ahead and do the attack. That seems faster. You crack it in half now. The glass ampule that was at its center that contained that sort of aqueous fluid that you recognize spatters all over the floor. The light that was powering the device, its energy sort of just immediately shuts off and wanes, and it begins to rapidly shrink again. And as it shrinks, it sucks all of the broken chunks of ice and all of the discorporated bodies of water so far back into the ever-shrinking circle. And the smaller elementals are drawn into it.
Oh, that helped.
And eventually it collapses on itself, not unlike a dying star. And when it goes, it takes the lesser elementals with it.
Nice.
But not the bigger one.
Not the
Good
roommates.
idea, guys. And girls.
Alexis.
Alexis channels the power of lightning and casts roll d12. Do it.
That's pretty good too.
If you have a health potion, you should probably drink it. I can't heal you again.
Health potions. What are health potions?
You've evaporated enough of its shape that it's now only just a foot taller than Leo, and rapidly diminishing in size. It's writhing in pain and agony. Some of the larger pieces of armor start just kind of chunking and falling off because it's too small to support the weight of that chitin. Sizzling in pain, it looks for a way out but doesn't seem to be able to find one.
Does this mean that its AC has dropped by any chance?
Well, let's find out. Probably Kig will be the first to know. in desperation, it's going to make 3 attacks, 1 at Kig, 1 at Leo, 1 at Jezza, starting with Kig. Oh, I don't have advantage. That was an 8.
Cool.
Misses Leo, and against Jezza, misses also. Yeah, apparently really burning to death by 2 separate Witch Bolt lightning strikes.
You technically still had advantage against me, I think.
You didn't attack last turn with Reckless, because you were...
Oh, okay, true. I was just hitting a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that means you lost your rage.
Probably? I don't know.
I think going to 0 ends the rage.
Okay.
Kig,
That sounds about right.
Sword.
Yeah, but you did just, take some health, get right back up, and start swinging again.
Are you Kig Sword or Kig S-word?
I don't know. I like
It's
that.
Kick Dagger for me. So.
I'm gonna go with the sword again.
Bold choice.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Gosh.
Unfortunately, despite his ever-decreasing size and armor literally falling off of his body, you still can't find a moment. You're, I think, maybe worried about armor plates falling on you, so you just spend most of your time bobbing and weaving.
That's it.
Can't land a meaningful blow. Do you want to stay put where you are now that Leo's back up?
Yeah.
Okay. Jezza, you're up.
I'd like to pole vault myself up with my staff and give him a good swift strike right at the neck, right at his headline with the quarterstaff. Just to seem cool.
Unfortunately, also a miss.
Alright, then I will burn. And then, not to be deterred, as I fall down, I would like to use Flurry of Blows with 2 unarmed additional attacks as a bonus action, 2 kicks to make up for me looking like an absolute idiot.
Miss and miss.
Jesus.
You jump up and you hit him with the quarterstaff right in the helmet, and unfortunately the helmet just kind of spins around on his amorphous watery body a couple of times. And on the way down, you're struggling to land a good kick, kind of like an axe kick, a heel drop, and it just feels like surfing. Your leg just moves through the water fluidly, not finding purchase on anything. And then when you land, you kick again, but just nothing.
I got short legs.
Have you tried kicking the thing?
I turn to Alexis. I will come over there. I will hit you with this.
2 casters, just use your lightning!
I have short legs. I'm done.
Kel, roll your damage. You guys don't all have this?
Yeah,
You can't just automatically damage everything?
Right?
Man, you picked a bad class.
Oh man.
Oof.
He's starting to look critically injured. Small as Leo now. Leo's staring him directly in the face. Do you want to move, Kel?
Oh no, I'm good.
Reed?
I'm going to move in closer and strike with my quarterstaff.
Miss.
All right.
Now that the most of the armor has fallen off, he's kind of just water, and it's apparently hard to hurt water in a meaningful way, except for obliterating it with lightning.
Yeah.
Well, still going to spend a key point and make an attempt
sorry.
for unarmed strike.
2
Okay.
hits, one of which is a critical hit.
Do we still do that roll 100 thing?
As far as I know, yes. You guys haven't told me that you hated it, so I assume yes. Let me pull it up. I did not come prepared today.
81. You said the 17 was a miss or a hit?
The
they're
17
both
is also a hit. Yeah.
Okay.
1 hit, 1 critical hit.
The 17 hit for 4, the crit hit for 6.
Could get caught up. 81 was what you rolled in the critical hit?
Yes.
That's got to be a good one.
I don't even have that pulled up anymore.
Your strike surprises your opponent. Your target is surprised until the end of their next turn.
What does that mean?
That means that everybody gets advantage on their attacks against a surprised target. Until next turn
Woo!
again.
Hey guys, you're welcome.
Oh no. You left him at exactly 2 hit points.
Son of a...
Oh, almost this glorious maneuver. As you know, you've watched Jezza. She tells you that you just can't kick it. You focus deeply inward, meditating, concentrating your chi to make your strikes more powerful, to hone it even farther. And as you strike, you literally can feel yourself slicing through the molecules that make up the water. You can feel them separating between each strike. Visibly, the creature is separating. Its arm just falls off of the right side of its body and becomes a puddle of water in midair. You're in the groove now, and by the time you've almost finished dismantling him, you almost feel bad, and your barrage of attacks stops. Leo, it's your turn.
Poor little
I'm gonna
guy.
finish it off with a manville slam.
Manville hits.
Nice.
Crawl into
No
the
rage.
water skin.
All right. As you basically two-handed overhand strike, it turns to run away from you. Go ahead and narrate your kill.
As it turns to run away, I just kind of slam it down, and just water basically just splashes everywhere, and maybe a good pool of it kind of hits one of the braziers and kind of smolders the water. Ashto, who is definitely hiding from this fight because I don't see him on the thing right now. He definitely got splashed, and his boots are all wet and soggy.
I like it.
And strong Leo's gonna be like, sometimes you need bronze to get you brains out of damage or out of fight.
Terrible.
With that,
Sometimes you a little key.
Bronze, get it?
yeah, it seems like the key to this fight was lightning.
Hardy har.
Right. Once the creature dies, it just becomes a pool of water that splashes just all across the Great Hall, seeping into the cracks, slowly evaporating. This does not behave in the same way as the creatures on the beach did.
Did he leave anything behind?
There was, like, at that exact moment, my Discord was, like, hiccuping, and so your whisper was, like, the creepiest thing I've heard this week. He said, I think, did he leave anything behind? But there was, like, 3 or 4, like, quarter seconds of silence in between each segment of those words.
Yep.
Yeah, I also heard that, actually. I don't think that was your Discord.
That was awesome. Over here.
That's deeply uncomfortable.
Over here, little boy.
Hmm.
I'm gonna try to too.
Oh, so I heard a really fun joke. You guys, wait, maybe I might want to. We're streaming. I'll tell you guys later.
Yeah, wait till break.
Okay. Actually, we should probably take a break if you guys want to take one now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Take a drink in bio. Be back in 3 or 4.
Cool.
Sounds good. All by myself. Don't wanna be. Sure.
think so.
I think so.
I don't have a ready check button.
If everyone can just say ready check.
Would be
I
nice.
said no, but I don't think people believe me.
Ready check.
So after the Myrmidon and the Lesser Elementals are defeated, the room begins to fill with guards who heard the commotion but were late to respond, and lots of onlookers start filling in like the very back of the hall, knowing that they were emptied but still just very curious as to what's been happening. Willen emerges from behind one of the pillars, sheathing his rapier, like boldly and defiantly now that the danger is gone. There's just so much to take in. Everyone seems a little dumbfounded. Again, Queen Gwendolyn finds herself in a position where she has to thank you for doing the kingdom a service and for protecting her directly. She says now there's no wonder or doubt in her mind as to why Swinford was spared or whose side you fight on. She says that there's much to consider, and she hopes she's not keeping you from anything important by asking you to stay around for the rest of the day and perhaps tomorrow. She's going to meet with the Council of High Advisors and would like to be able to call upon you to answer questions if needed, and to keep you appraised of the situation as they make decisions.
Sounds good.
It's good.
As
to
long as you
me.
give us a place to stay.
You'll be, kept in the nicest accommodations the castle has to offer, probably more fine than anything you've ever experienced. She does ask for one favor, though. Not that you haven't already done her and the kingdom enough.
Yeah.
And that
Sure.
is-
What's the favor?
She says that Griffin traditionally is not part of these complex conversations. You might join him in talking to our assembled army, talk to the troops about the enemies you encountered, and then fight what we don't know anything about. Would you consider this for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
If you could just say like the first 3 words.
The first 3 words.
Yeah, for some reason every time you started to speak a sentence it like muffled for half a second. and that was
Yeah,
weird.
I noticed that
cutting
too.
out.
It was weird.
Yeah. Same.
I hear you, girl.
What's the name of the guy you want us to speak to? That's pretty much what I lost.
Griffin Winters, the captain of the guard.
Oh,
oh.
okay. Okay.
This dude. If you are agreeable to that, Liza shows you to the quarters that you'll be staying in the eastern wing of the castle. Offers to return your soiled and filthy clothes if you're going to go be playing soldier all afternoon. No sense in getting 2 sets of clothes muddy and sweaty.
I don't want to go do that. And I ask if there's any places of learned study in the area, specifically in the here.
I'm also
there-
Now?
I'm sorry, that was a lot of voices at once. Say one person at a time.
I was just asking, we have to do this now? We can't get messed up.
You can if you wanted to. She's just like one of those like fastidious OCD people that
I
just sweep up after every guest in their house.
I'd like to join Alexis as well. I'm not really interested in playing soldier either.
Okay. There is within the castle walls a older sage named Erasmus who resides here, who's the eldest and wizened sage. Although old age has robbed him of many of his faculties, he's still kept around just for years of service and the wealth of knowledge he still has. Even half of his brain is still more full than most people's ever will be. He has an elaborate library on premise.
Uh-oh.
I'm about to go steal some books again.
There's also outside of Castle Ashburn in Pendilor, there is the one of the Aether Vale Lyceums, like a wizarding school that trains and instructs mages. But that's far outside of the castle.
Perhaps later.
Within that library, I'd like to do some research to see if I can figure out what happened with Opie.
Okay.
Because that's not supposed to do that.
I was pretty sure it doesn't do that. Are we still leaving Opie in the cart outside?
Is there any way that I could sneak Opie in without anyone catching on that Opie?
Do you have access to a disguise kit?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Do I have access to a disguise kit?
I do have access to a disguise kit.
Cool. Then, are you proficient in it?
I am.
Yeah, give me a roll.
What would that be?
You can click on the tool kit.
I do.
Have that proficiency.
And then my
disguise
wait,
kit should
what
be a proficiency.
attribute do I use?
I would guess it's probably wisdom based.
Okay, I'm gonna set that for later so I don't have to.
Oh, well done. Yeah, with
Oh, wow.
a lot of artistic flourish and more than a little bit of modeling clay, you paint this perfect little chubby cherub with rosy cheeks and everything. More lavender scented oil than you would have liked, but he passes very much as a living boy of 12.
Excellent. I also want to figure out if Opie eats and what Opie eats.
Okay. Alexis, if you go to the library with Kel, what are your intellectual pursuits? What are you hoping to discover, uncover, relearn, unlearn?
Oh, it's not really intellectual. I'm just looking for something to read.
Or steal?
Yeah, well, maybe.
All right. For the ease of my sanity, who is going to help Griffin sort of train the troops? And who's going to go to the library to be a member of the third group going somewhere else?
I mean, I'll go.
I'll go
Leo
as
will-
well, but
Yeah, Leo will go, but he's probably gonna take a short rest.
I'm very proficient in dexterity. I could show a kid a thing or two.
I have one thing I need to do though before I do that though. Try.
Okay.
I motion to Ashburn. It's like I need someone to deliver something for me.
Okay. What?
Just something in the city. I take a pouch and it's got most of my coin in this. So because my character is tiny and didn't spend a lot of money, so it's gonna have 70 gold and my remaining silver in it. And it says, I need you to take this down to the inn in the lower part of town, put it on the counter, and tell the barman that the fireman needs to come pick it up in the morning.
Looks at you like he's already got the money in his hand, and the hand is slowly closing as he's trying to understand your words. I don't understand.
The barman will. Just give it to him.
Okay.
Some spy master you are.
Huh.
And he takes his leave of you.
Yep.
That's. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's for the my character sponsors the orphanage, but because orphanages can't, as the way I put it, it's the way the matron is really stubborn, so she doesn't like to take donations. So the fireman is a code just for the kids to come get the money and then spend it on themselves.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah, but I'll be going with the troops.
Okay.
I'll be going with the troops.
Reed's going to go buy some supplies in town, and it looks like Alexis, and Kel are going to go to the library. Do I have that correct?
Correct.
Yep,
Yes.
Cool. I am going to jump ahead to the troop training, if that's right with everybody, for just a second.
Yeah.
Excuse
One
me.
minute to
Sorry.
figure out maps. Did not plan for this super well. I wish, like, I have multiple groups that I DM for at this point in time, and one of them is the group that I play with Andro, like real life friends for the last 20 years, been playing kind of nonstop. Not the same campaign, but they have this. I think anytime you play with the same group of people for that long, there's like biases that get brought into it, but they have this mantra that you never split the party. Because one time when I was 18, I decided to let them do 2 challenge rating 20 encounters at the same time without decreasing them at all. Like, in my mind, I was like, well, that's what you get. Like, you split up in the middle of a dungeon in the 7th layer of hell, and sometimes you just have to fight a Baylor by yourself.
Oh, and you killed everybody, and then they got really salty?
Like, it went real south real fast, and the only caster we had teleported, plane shifted away, leaving everyone else to die. And,
no!
Like, rather than blaming that person, which there's obviously some blame to be laid at their feet, but it was just me. Like, I, the vengeful DM, TPK'd them out of just sheer vitriol and hatred, and this is why you never split the party. And so now, like, literally 19 years later, I'm like, okay, well, there's 2 objectives. We could send like half of you to one. You never split the party. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. That was like 20 years ago, though, right? That was.
If you let us do this for this session, the multiple times we divided this group and you didn't say anything.
So it's been fun with players who are a little more like free and free of that. Yeah, it's nice.
To be fully fair, he's now got 20 years of experience.
Also, to be fair, there's a shit ton of us.
Yeah, there really is.
Yeah.
So.
I've played in a couple groups now. We've had 7 to 12 people, and like,
oh Jesus,
you just gotta split the party. You just have to.
Yeah, and like sometimes we'll. Yeah, just even if like different levels of the same complex. I did a Resident Evil inspired zombie dungeon in Eberron for them, and like just okay, well, you found a secret entrance to the 2nd level. Cool. You don't want to explore it? Nope. Why not? Because the other group is already here, and we don't split the party. Excellent. I will never escape this, will I?
Nope.
That's pretty funny.
It's
Now
like,
I feel like to counteract that, we have to split the party as much as possible.
Unless you force them to split the party, and then nothing bad happens.
well, that's just it though. Like I tell them, we have had 3 instances where I did just that to try to like aftercare, to like sort of smooth it over and make them understand that it's not always going to be bad. Like it doesn't have to be this horrible thing, and still they just remember the one bad time. Like I failed you guys. I was young, I was stupid, I was 18. I didn't understand how traumatic this was going to be for everybody. All right, we're gonna jump ahead to here.
I also understand, but have also now realized just how long you've known Andrew.
Yeah, quite a while. He was, at the time, I was living with a roommate, and Andrew was his cousin. So
Wow.
like, yeah, it was one of those where like, is it cool if my cousin comes over and plays? And I'm like, God, I hate little cousins.
God, man.
Because like when you're 18, you just know everything about everything.
Yep.
Clearly.
Of course.
So yeah, that's where I met T, and been around ever since, basically.
That's just history.
All right, so as you walk down the path here, you see this large ring of stones. Griffin refers to them as the Ring of Elder Stones.
Wait a minute.
They look a little bit like Stonehenge. Just past them is this sort of man-made moat of water, and this sparring pillar at its center. There's a rope bridge connecting the land to this man-made island, and there's several assembled elite troops waiting there. And at the other end of this stone platform, you see several like stone-carved warriors, for lack of a better term. They look like statues, just poised there. And Griffin points to them and says, Have you ever experienced battle with a figment golem?
A what?
Never.
Can't say I have.
Figment, never mind.
Not a
Have
one.
any of us?
He calls the army to attention on the banks. You hear 200 men snap to attention, and they all watch. There are 3 sort of like lieutenants, big important people in Queen Gwendolyn's army who are watching from the platform. Griffin explains to you, the 4 of you, Reed has done his herbalism shopping, that you stare into the eyes of one of these figment golems and do your best to relive that combat. And if you convincingly relive that memory in your mind, the figment golem will become that enemy. They use it in various ways to train the army for any conceivable circumstance. They were a brainchild of Lore Master Erasmus. So, with your consent and permission, he would like each of you to do your best to remember that day on the beach and take them blow by blow through the creatures they fought, what their attacks were like, and how you defeated them. Leo, do you want to spend hit dice before we do this?
Sure, yeah. How do I do that again?
On your character sheet, below hit points, you should have hit dice. You'll have all 4 available. They're d12s. You can roll any number of them during a 60-second period of downtime. Yep.
I, for some reason, have 5 of them.
Oh, are we level 5? I might be wrong.
Well, my guy says
Wait, did we level
I
up
have
or level 4?
on mine, but for some reason I have 5 on my hit dice.
We should be level 4.
Is it because he's a dwarf or a barbarian, maybe?
I don't think anything gives you extra hit dice to my
I'm
knowledge.
gonna put that back down to 4 for some reason then. I don't know why that was 5.
Cheater.
Yeah, it's just cheating. Sorry. Alright, 11 points.
Mm-hmm.
I will go back to 21 then. Cool.
You can spend up to 4. You're not limited to 1 hit die per short rest. You can take as many.
Oh,
as you
okay. Well, then I'll do 2 more, I guess. So they're 24? Okay. That'll take me pretty close. Ooh. Good enough.
I can't tell whether roll 20. Oh, there it is. Cool. So who wants to go first? Jezza, Leo, Kig, or Reed? One of you needs to look into the Figment Golem's eyes.
I feel like Leo would be the one to volunteer that.
Yeah.
Before anyone else.
He had the
I'll
most action.
walk out in the center and
fight.
kind of take a deep breath and get ready to just kind of focus my inner thoughts and stare down one of these golems.
Okay. To your mind, which creature do you want this golem to become so that you might demonstrate how best to defeat it for the troops?
Probably one of the small fish-like people. Since we fought a lot of those, I feel like those are going to be more common, and that's something they need to...
The thinner ones that were obviously the casters and conjured tridents, or the thicker, taller, armor-plated ones with the tridents that shot barbs?
The thicker, taller ones.
The golem becomes this creature before you, and you take a moment to just kind of marvel at how realistic it looks, and in a terrifying moment of realization, it opens its mouth and gurgles at you, and then just charges, trying to spear you with its trident. Roll initiative.
God, I just pictured a Murloc when you did that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Roll.
Low initiative.
All
Like
of us,
always.
or
Sure. Anybody that wants to attack this golem.
I'll tell everyone to stand back. Be like,
Yeah.
I'll 1v1 it.
yeah, I'll pass my turn, but I'll get in on the turn order.
Yeah, sure.
Alright. Reed, you have the superior dexterity. If you'd like to involve yourself, you may.
just question in general. Since Leo is the one that summoned this incarnation, would it be smart for me to step back and let him have the first attack against his golem, or does that matter?
It doesn't matter to me.
Leo's going to ask you to step aside and let him just kind of 1v1 this one.
Okay.
Just to show off what he can do and how to fight.
Gotcha. All right, then yeah, I'll stand back until you need help. Then I'll ready an attack action. Which I will use upon Leo's word, but it will be a distanced Sun Soul Strike.
He closes to Leo rapidly then, and makes one slash with its trident. I think that hits, yeah?
Yep.
For 2 points of piercing damage, and then bites you. A critical miss.
Nice.
Oh boy.
I'll take 2 points of damage then.
Oh.
Says you lose your grip as you attack. Roll a DC 10 dexterity check. On a failure, you drop your weapon at your feet.
Do you drop your teeth?
I do not drop my trident. My grip is true.
Awesome.
Jezza, you have an action, otherwise we're going to pass to Leo.
I pass the turn. I just kind of watch out and go, ooh, watch the chompas. I don't know why I went British for that one.
Every planet has a north.
Leo just kind of is collecting his thoughts, and when he does that, he just kind of lets the first hit, just basically hit him, just so he just basically feels the pain, and then he just rages, and then he's gonna just take out his anvil and just basically try to crush the head on this thing. I think that hits.
Oh yes. You've crushed it pretty significantly in the head. You sink its massive fishy head into its shoulders with a downward blow. It's barely alive and twitching, but still is slashing at you with the trident. In between erratic, involuntary muscle spasms. If no one intervenes, it attacks you again.
Nice.
Part of me just wants to casually
critical hit.
Okay. What is going on?
Critical miss into a critical hit. Let's go.
I know, right?
Critical hit table 77. Your attack knocks your target over. Leo, you are prone.
Nice.
Once the creature knocks you prone, it gets to make its bite attack with advantage because you're prone. It hits, and yeah, knocks your target over. 6 points of piercing, and I didn't. 11, so total of 17 damage. You will make that the first one 3, and the second one 6.
So 9.
Total of 9.
Okay, so I'll go to 40, 34.
Mm-hmm. The assembled troops that are watching sort of gasp when it knocks you over and starts savaging your upper torso with its teeth. Griffin starts to step forward, crossing the bridge like he's going to interrupt it. Kig, Reed, and Jezza, do you want to let him interrupt?
I don't see a reason why not.
No, I mean, Leo told us to stay back.
No, do not let him.
That's true. Yeah.
He's gonna get up. He's got this. He's got a lot of HP.
Yeah.
Nice. So as Griffin crosses, you'll tell him, nope, wait a minute. He's got him just where he wants him. Leo, take your turn.
I want to strangle the thing.
Okay.
Yep.
How do I do an
that's
unarmed
reasons.
attack here?
Grapple is with athletics.
Okay, so I just athletics. Okay.
I got a 4 and you got an 8, so we are spastically wrestling, but you're winning.
Okay. And then I'm basically just gonna push it off me and then get on top of it and just strangle it by the neck.
Okay, make your unarmed attack, which is 1 plus your strength.
Okay.
So
Strength
you
roll.
might have to just use the multi-dice roller. Oh no, you can't do it that way. What happens if you just click strength? So you do. Oh, we just do 5 damage. I'm so sorry.
Okay, just 5
late
damage.
and my
Cool.
brain doesn't work. I don't know why.
That's
I felt
fine.
like we needed to roll a die to do 1 plus 4, but that's where I'm.
5 damage. Nice.
I apologize.
That's fine. I didn't know what we were doing either.
Yeah, you choke the life out of him, just standing over its corpse until eventually you can hear the cervical vertebra snap, heaving and violently swollen from your rage. You just kind of stare at everybody who just was expecting like a brief tutorial on tactics and
I
now
get up and
covered
just kind of
in your blood and his blood.
just kind of like wipe dust off on the blood, wipe it off, and just go. So, anyways, you just kind of kill it. They're pretty squishy targets.
Griffin walks over and like offers you a small rag to. He's mimicking that you have blood all over your face.
I take it and kind of clean my face off.
And so he asks if this is the strongest of their force.
I tell them this is probably one of
No.
their more common forces among them, but definitely not their strongest.
And do they have a ranged attack option, or are these purely melee foot soldiers?
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
He
I
looks to
I just
Jezza.
kind of tell them that I'm usually in their face when I was attacking them, so I didn't really ever see them use a ranged attack on me. So that would have to be to my other allies who stay back would know that answer more than I would.
Looking at you, Jezza, Griffin is looking for you to fill in the blanks. What kind of ranged weapon do they possess? Bow and arrow, crossbow? What should my men prepare for?
Magic. Like not like say the word type magic. They got like I'm motioning with my hands like I'm like shooting like sparks out of my fingers like magic.
Doesn't Kig's trident shoot the same way as their tridents do?
It certainly does.
I say from nowhere nearby.
And then like snap and then like a snap I also like they also use things like that. And I point to Kig's trident.
Yeah, but I can't use it right now.
And their ballista.
No, you can use you can shoot the spines.
I can shoot the spines, yeah.
I think that's what their attack is like. Is the spines.
Allow me to
very
backseat it.
Yeah. A message spell smacks you in the back of your head.
Yeah, I can use the spines.
Griffin asks for a demonstration on the figment golem that stands before you.
Just shoot it at it.
He didn't barely have time to get out of the way between your line of effect and the golem. He dodges, drawing his sword just reflexively from being in the line of fire, and it just decimates, blowing huge stone chunks out of the left and right, like love handle flanks of the stone golem. And everybody gasps. And he looks at the damage. Impressive. But once they fired, then the spear is just a spear, so we could easily close. Remember to always bear your shields up, men.
Oh no, they come back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they regrow.
Looking down at your trident now, just sort of like branching bits of coral start replacing the 2 fired spines. How
Like you
long can
said,
we do this?
Magic. As long as they're alive.
So you're saying our greatest asset in defeating these enemies is to defeat them?
Nothing's
Well,
greater.
They can't move very far if they don't have any feet.
Do their armor have any weak points? Any natural vulnerabilities?
Oh
Lightning.
yeah. They're all fleshy bits. All soft and squishy.
Well, that indeed is good. Do they have hearts and lungs?
Ooh. I don't think
I don't-
any of us took any like bodies for dissection.
Well,
No,
we could,
they just
We
melt.
kind of obliterated them.
They're. It's like they're made of water, but like the second, like you smack them, and they just kind of melt. Well, you
Bludgeon
smack them
attacks.
enough, and then they melt. I guess.
Bludgeon attacks seem to work very well on them.
This man here who wears a large ornate skull as a helmet says, "These fools know nothing. They simply got lucky once, and it won't happen again. I need to hear no more from them."
Turn to the guy and be like, "Them's fighting words, boy."
Yeah, what do you know about luck?
I turn to the guy. It's like, sir, you were not there. You did not fight Undine like we did.
Look
Griffin
at my trident.
steps in between you and puts his hand on this person's chest, and he says, "Argon, stand down. These are not enemies." He says, Argon takes like one step back to get out of Griffin's face and says, "Lucky for them."
Yeah, Arjun.
You can tell he's itching for a fight.
I've got to fight for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't we spawn on the big guy and let him fight that?
That was my suggestion exactly.
Nice.
Summon the
Yeah, we can show
Chul.
them a commander.
Not. I was thinking not Undine, but the
Jules.
larger monstrous one that we fought.
That's a good idea. It is just about 9 o'clock, so I think we're going to punt that for next time. We'll have Arjun contend with one of the Hulks that we fought on the beach and see how he
Yes.
fares. You guys can coach him through that. And then actually, we'll probably pick up next time with Kel and Alexis in the library. Yeah, are we good for 2 weeks from today?
should
Yep.
be.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Should be.
I had a lot of fun tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Oh, I remembered. We talked about it because it popped into Megan's mind. The schedule that we have puts us playing on Black Friday, down the road a bit. For us, that's kind of like a holiday. We're probably not going to go out and shop like we used to all those years ago when like in-store Black Friday shopping was a thing. But we do usually go out and do like a family breakfast and kind of hang with the family all day. So I don't know how many people. I don't know for how many people that is a like family holiday, but I wasn't sure if it was worth trying to schedule around it. I mean, I might be home, but if there was a way to like either play 2 Fridays in a row to skip that one, or just call it a bye week and whatever.
I was going to suggest maybe not the Friday the 30th. Like we could skip a week or push ahead a week, do it next week instead, or the week of the 6th.
That may make more sense.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would
we
make
could-
more sense.
Yeah, that would make sense to do the 23rd.
So that would be next Friday, unless that's too soon for you, Try.
Wait, next Friday?
Next Friday
No,
is the
that's not
23rd.
going to work for Feisty,
I'm gone next week. I'm on vacation.
and I'm
Would
not
we
sure that
s-
Zell's back yet either.
Could we
so-
do
Sixth?
November the 6th, and then puts it at Friday? The next one after that would be Friday the
20th?
20th.
Or we just go Friday the 6th and Friday the 13th, and then get back on for 13/27.
Yeah.
Ooh, are we
Yeah.
gonna have some really spooky a spooky session on Friday the 13th?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Go ahead and assume I'm basically, as long as it's still a Friday, assume that I'm good. I really have to run to the washroom, so if I don't get you
Oh,
before I'm back.
No worries.
All right.
Thanks, Ventis. Have a good night.
You just said Black Friday was a no-no for you, and Friday the 27th is Black Friday.
I think what we do is, probably the best thing is just to keep our normal schedule and then just skip the 27th and then just do a bye week that week.
Would
I
we
think
be-
that's what I suggest.
Yeah.
We'll just keep the plan as it is then, and if anything changes, let me know. It's far enough away that I think we have time to negotiate around it. I just wanted to put it on everybody's radar.
Like we could even do like skip the 27th and then go to the 4th, or just skip the 27th and just go back to the 11th. Whatever's fine with me. I just think maybe a bye week might be a good.
There's going to be a section in early December where potentially me and Saventus aren't going to be able to do a Friday because that's when the next raid tier in 14 drops, and we're going to try to go every single day, but that week like we normally do. But I don't know when that is. So I just know it's at the beginning of December.
And we're also like, Shadowlands is going to drop soon, and I would like to keep playing the game as long as you guys are comfortable using some time every other Friday to play D&D.
That's perfect for me.
I just realized that once I didn't ask, I just kind of assumed, but I thought maybe I would check with you guys and make sure that once shiny new Shadowlands drops, it wasn't like this is a better use of my time.
No.
God,
okay.
No, I
you know
like
how much
doing-
social interaction I get in my life?
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll
I like the break from WoW. It's nice to have a different game.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it's fun.
Real quick, now that I'm back, was there a decision on something? Is it still every other Friday, or is there?
We're
going to
go every other Friday for now. With the prevailing theory being that if we just arrive at the end of November and we may just like take it as a bye week and punt, or if we get to a really good part of the story, there's the chance that we can just look at people's schedules that week before and see if we can just double up. And then skip Black Friday. And I am aware that 14 has a new raid release potentially in December at some point, which might preclude you and Lav from playing.
Yeah, it's
Since you are a cruel taskmaster and will make everyone raid every day.
That's my thing.
He will. Oh, okay, bye, Try.
Welcome back.
Yeah, the suspected dates are the 1st or 8th. So, though we don't have hard confirmation yet.
Is my guess for Shadowlands release. What are you guys going to do if 14 releases the raid at the same time that Shadowlands drops?
Oh man, that's going to be a rough 24 hours. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say, I mean, the good news is that on the week that we drop on raids, we don't run like 24 hours. We run like maybe at most a 6-hour day. But it is going to be every day we're able to do it, Saventus.
I know, and guess what? I have crafters leveled now. So guess what I'm going to be doing a fucking patch up instead of doing, the story or the raid content. I get to make fucking
it's gonna be
for you.
Great, right?
I get to make you a set of crafted gear, you lucky bitch.
Wow.
The third time I've heard him described that way.
Yeah.
Lucky bitch.
Yeah, no.
To be fair, I do inevitably plan on getting gear myself so I can help sometimes.
Yes. The only thing I was going to ask is, how have people been enjoying pre-patch so far for those who have played?
There's not a lot to it for right now. There's no
Yeah.
Ice Crown, so it's just we had casual normal Wednesday to kind of see how class changes worked.
Yeah,
The
I guess that would be
leveling process is a lot more fun now.
Yeah, I like
yeah.
that.
What do people think of their initial class changes so far? I guess
There's not enough buttons.
I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I
God,
need
it
more
has too many
bindings.
God,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
not enough
There's
bindings.
like so many things. I don't know if I've ever shared this with you guys. I am a left-handed gamer. Like shame. I play.
I did not know that.
My mouse is my left hand. So
What the fuck?
I have
Yeah.
to get unconventional with my right hand. So what I use is the number pad on my keyboard, like backspace, asterisk, minus, plus, enter, and then the 1 through 0 keys on the number pad are my like default home row. And then I use F10 through F12 and like the other insert, delete, home, and page up and page down buttons when they can be bound to stuff. Those are my go-to buttons. Well, I'm at a point now with the 5 buttons on my mouse plus the 12 buttons I can easily reach with my right hand isn't enough buttons. And you can't Alt, Control, or Shift modifier the number keys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible. Really?
That sucks.
Yeah.
Not
trying
even
to
with
get
like
creative.
a.
I'm looking at
software like
finding.
AutoHotkey or something.
Yeah, I'm looking into a way to try to create like macros in the keyboard itself that will help, maybe ? But it's one of those things where like it was never a problem. I mean, most specs in WoW have like 6 core buttons in their rotation, and then a couple of mat abilities, and that's what's nice about the healer because with Voodoo, all of the healing spells live in my mouse, so that frees up all that real estate for other buttons. But
Do you do a lot of Control or Alt key bindings?
I would love to, but you can't Control or Alt the number pad.
Oh shit, that sucks.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have that problem. My only problem is it'll fix itself when Shadowlands drops and we don't have the Azurite Essence ability. I because of the fact that they added Slice and Dice baseline now, because that's been added, and that's one button. That's where I was putting the button that was there was where I was putting roll the bones, and now I just don't have enough like space because I'm also left-handed, but that doesn't matter. I click a lot of stuff, and I also, because I guess I'm left-handed, I don't have that much dexterity, I guess, but I also have small hands, so I can only go like 1 through 5, and then control 1 through 5, and that's about as far as I can go. So and then 7 for like a speed boost or something. So I only have like 1 through 5 and control 1 through 5 as like a quick, do stuff.
Yeah.
So I just don't have that real estate on my hotbars. And then now I have it creeping into 6 and 7, and I'm like, this isn't working. This is not going to
Okay,
work.
I have a suggestion for specifically 2 more hotkeys for you. It's
What?
control space and alt space. Those actually work really well.
Control space and alt space.
Yeah, you hit control and space, like spacebar, like you're jumping,
Huh.
and that you can keybind that for something. So I have my current like the cloak. I have that control space.
Interesting.
That's a good idea.
Cool.
Yeah.
I could put that as my interrupt.
There you go.
Yeah. So far, basically, like from initial class changes, the three of my 4 potential mains haven't changed. Like Demon Hunter is still Demon Hunter.
Yeah,
Monk
Warrior
is still
hasn't done
Monk.
anything.
Warrior basically got, like, other than like kind of their priorities shifted a little bit. We got one new button where you can only use it while in rage, so it's kind of odd to use with crit being still so high. Like maybe in Shadowlands gear it'll be better because you won't have such a chance to crit with Bloodthirst. That's more of a min-maxy thing. The only one that I'm really interested in is Shaman again, because Shaman went back to its pre-Legion form, and oh man, it feels so slow.
Zeph and Rezkin were playing their shamans, I think Enhancement and Ellie in Raid, and they were both having a blast.
Like, yeah, I think it's probably really fun, especially once you get into Shadowlands and you can really make the Hailstorm build work in like dungeons. But at the moment, going from something that has been GCD locked for 4 years to something that is no longer GCD locked, like you're sitting there going like you push Stormstrike and you're like, I guess I'm waiting. Oh, Flame Shock. Okay, back to waiting. Okay, Stormstrike.
My thing, my big thing, and that is probably gonna sound kind of weird. Haha. No, it's gonna sound kind of weird. When I was leveling the Shaman earlier, I fell in love with the post Legion Shaman. As soon as Shadowlands pre-patch, I logged in. I was instantly just like, no.
Enhancement or Ellie?
Both. I just didn't like it. I just hated both. Like, I absolutely hated both of them. I was like, this is stupid, and I don't think I'm gonna play Shaman. Like, I was
okay.
I went from absolutely enjoying Shaman to absolutely hating it.
Hey guys, I'm gonna get off Discord.
And I feel so bad.
All right, see you guys.
So
Good night,
have a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm probably gonna get off too. It's pretty late.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go too.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. That was a lot of fun. That
Yeah,
was I don't know why, but more fun than maybe the last one was even.
There was
But
a lot
I don't
more.
know why. I don't know why, but I was just like, it was so bad. I was like, this is.
We're
Yeah.
messing